Oh, yes. Welcome to the Gov Shack. So happy to have you with me. 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Right on. Boy, I'm on time for the first time in a long time, but I am on time. So excited to talk to you with this very special Gov Shack because, I do shows often when it comes to things like, I told you so's and things like that. And boy, I got some I told you so's this time. I do. And this time, it's the Republicans. Often it is, New Yorkers, meaning it's like, it is a Kathy Hochul or something like that saying, oh my God, Larry was right the whole time. Oh no. Now it's Republicans now and better at the national level. Yes, it's true. They have finally decided that I am correct. They're agreeing with me and it's been forever, but I'm happy that they are. So no complaints on that whatsoever. Very happy that it's true. And by the way, since you know it's going to be good, it is time for you to do what's important. Hit it, elbow it, smash it. The click known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. You know what I'm talking about, that button. I need it. Do it. Yes. So people can see it. Make sure you're reposting this someplace. You know you need to. You know you want to. Don't harm yourself. Be good. You know you want to. So just do it. Indulge and repost this or share this someplace. It does matter to the best of your ability. Please do so. I'm saying it not because I am bored. I'm not bored. I'm saying it because it matters. So guys, please share it if you would. It does matter if you're not subscribed already to this channel. Or and click the notification bell so you get notifications. Click that bell or follow me or whatever the case may be. Please do all those if you would. It really does matter. I know I bugged you. Please do so. And of course, this is also a fundraiser. So if you like what you're hearing and you want me to keep going, then do me a favor, LarrySharpe.com/donate. You cannot super chat on this because this is political. This is not the Sharpe way. You might think it is. It looks similar, but it's not. This is the Gov Shack. And for that, if you want to super chat, you have to go to LarrySharpe.com/super chat. That's a little bit different. You'll have to go there, right there. LarrySharpe.com/super chat. It is in the description on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble if you want to do that. You can also volunteer if you want to. Happy to have you on the SEAL Team Sharpe. We need you. We do need you. You want to get some cool merch, some hoodies, shirts, cups, bumper stickers, go ahead. LarrySharpe.com/shop. All right. It's important if you can do those to please do those. It does matter because we're still moving forward. By the way, for those you don't know, I'm proud to say, we did raise over $100,000 for our January report, which is already out officially. So guys, thank you so much for all those of you who supported me. Those of you who have been donating, we have raised over $100,000. Our next one is going to be in March. It's mid-March. We have to report. So we'll be reporting in mid-March. That'll be for our April numbers, which I hope will be very good. If we can break that $500,000 mark from 5,000 New Yorkers, we will get a nice fat check for April from the New York State for $3 million, and we will have ease getting ballot access. It will be very simple. So, guys, if you can support, please do so. All right, I've chatted away, and I'm glad that I have. I appreciate the chatting, but let me show you just how they have decided that I am correct. Yes, I am correct. The Republicans have decided that I'm right. They're coming my way. It's been a while. They've been yelling and screaming and playing all types of games, but they're coming my way, starting with the vice president. He's coming my way. Watch J.D. Vance basically say what's happening.
Far left people, but also by some of the state and local law enforcement officials who could do a much better job in cooperating and working. By the way, I'm not talking about the cops who these guys told me on the ground. The cops are very sympathetic to what they're dealing with. I'm talking about state and local elected law enforcement officials who could do a lot better job in making their lives a little bit easier. And in the process, they would make the lives of all Minneapolis residents easier. And that's what we want. We want to be able to.
Okay, now that part actually makes sense. That part makes sense. I get that part. He's saying, look, coordination. I've been saying that forever, but he's going to keep going.
Force the immigration laws on the one hand, while on the other hand, we want to make sure that people in Minneapolis are able to go about their day. And I want to say just one last point on this.
Okay, one last point. Come on, JD.
I heard from a business leader today who told me a very tough story. And I think so much of what's gone wrong in Minneapolis is people not trying to understand the perspective of somebody else. Try to understand what somebody else is experiencing.
J.D. Vance calling for empathy. Okay. Little late, JD, but hey, better late than never. Better late than never. but okay. I've been called for empathy for how long? But it's fine. Okay, here we go.
Whether they're a law enforcement officer or anybody in the community here in Minneapolis. So,
okay, whether a law enforcement officer or anybody in the community who may not like that law enforcement officer, it might not be a bad idea for those law enforcement officers to have some empathy before they pull out their firearms. Agreed. Can we add that part to it a little bit? Can we add that too? Empathy on them too?
They told me a story about this manufacturing facility where an illegal immigrant was being arrested. Okay. And as these employees are going into the manufacturing facility, all of a sudden, an illegal immigrant shows up. They don't know it's an illegal immigrant. And then a bunch of ICE officers descend. Now, these people just want to go to work. They want to go to work safely. And now all of a sudden, there's a major law enforcement operation happening right outside their place of business. Now, from one perspective, I certainly understand why a business leader or why an employee would say, whoa, what's going on? It's a little scary, no matter your position in life, if a bunch of cop cars show up and they're arresting somebody.
Yes, that's true. Yes. Okay. So far good. So somebody might get worried or scared or be concerned. True. Okay. Well, so
now,
far so
the
good,
additional
JD.
Context is that we know that people online have been encouraging illegal immigrants that one way they can evade arrest is by showing up at a legitimate place of business, making it impossible for these guys to actually enforce our immigration laws.
So to be clear, this is what he just said. If you go to work, it's impossible, his words, to do your job. Is it? Don't you know what car the guy has? You can't get him in his car. You can't get him before he gets there. What if he's riding a bike? He's walking. You can't get him there. That's impossible. You can't get him in those places. That's not possible. You got 75 ICE agents. They can't figure this out. You know who often can figure this out? Why this doesn't usually happen? Local police. What have I been saying? For the last year, I said, this is not going to work. You cannot just shove ICE dudes who are from some other place, not knowing what they're doing with no infrastructure into the States. This bad stuff's going to happen. You know who does know how to do this? Local cops. That's why it doesn't happen with local cops. Well, rarely, because they know. So you could just go, hey, we're looking for Bad Pablo. Local cops, how can we deal with it? And if local cops go, oh, we don't have the bodies. No worries. Can you give me one guy to coordinate with this? Just give me one guy to show me what's going on to coordinate, and then we can do the rest. But so our guys aren't doing this because we're going to screw it up. And they did screw it up. And they are screwing it up. Yes.
So while I can understand the perspective of somebody who doesn't want to see an arrest happen at their place of work.
He's throwing his career away, by the way. He's throwing it right in the garbage. JD's throwing his career right in the garbage.
I can also understand the perspective of our immigration enforcement officers who have to do their job and can't allow a heckler's veto over our immigration enforcement. And so much of what's gone wrong is the failure to do that. And here's the point.
Okay, tell me the point.
We can do a good job of enforcing our immigration laws without the chaos, but it actually requires the cooperation of state and local officials.
It requires the coordination of state and local officials. Who's been saying that who warned about this over a year ago? Who was that? Oh, right, me. It would be me. I'm the guy who said this a year ago. And if you can't do it, don't force it. Get these guys and make a deal. Donald Trump is literally the deal maker in chief. This is literally what he does. This is all he makes Republicans mad. He makes so many damn deals. That's all he does. But instead, what they did is they made sure that now they can fight, and we can fight each other over this shit, not get anything done. Fight and get nothing done. The reality of it is, what did we actually vote for? What did we actually vote for? What we actually voted for as Americans, not everybody obviously, but as Americans, we voted to close the border. That's true. That's, again, you may not believe that, and you may not want that. Maybe you personally didn't vote for that. But as a nation, we did. We voted to close the border. And we voted to go get bad guys. And the Republicans who were hardcore said, nope, they all got to go. All of them got to go. And I told you guys, they can't all go. It's physically impossible. The system was destroyed since Biden. Biden wrecked it. It was gone. Remember, Obama was able to deport. Bush was able to deport. Clinton was able to deport. They had the systems. Biden got rid of everything. It's gone. Didn't exist. You can't rebuild that shit in 5 minutes. It's impossible. I said it a year ago, and you hardcore Republicans were like, no, we're righteous. And this is what it got you. This is what it got you. It was impossible to be done in a year. Could you eventually do it? Maybe, but not in a year. Impossible. What should you have done? Focus on the bad guys. The country was about focusing on the bad guys. If you had done that, you would actually have better outcomes. How do I know that? Well, JD Vance is going to actually tell me right now.
If you look at blue cities and blue states, red cities and red states, you go to Austin, Texas, or Memphis, Tennessee. You go to the state of Texas, obviously a very red state, or the state of Tennessee, a very red state, but you got blue cities within those states. You do not have this level of chaos.
Correct.
The reason why things have gotten so out of hand is because of failure of cooperation between the state and local authorities and what these guys are trying to do.
Yes. Mike, you have said it perfectly. Mike says Republicans are playing into the hands of Democrats. The Democrats want chaos. True. Now, how do I know it's happening? Because he's saying this. And there's more. Oh, when I'm done, I'm going to show you some more. Some Republicans have been smart. Those who want a future are being smart. They recognize something. My brothers on the right, remember, I say this with love and I mean this. You've lost this battle. The Democrats won this battle. I know some of you don't like it. You're mad when I say it. It pisses you off. I know you do. I know you hate it. I'm asking you to recognize something. It is time to withdraw your troops, regroup, and counterattack. This battle's lost. This battle's lost. My brothers on the left, my Democrats, please do not gloat. You've won this battle. Let them retreat. Let them fall back. Let them end this, and somehow let them march off the field with their colors. I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to. I know you want to fight them, and you want to hammer, and you want to slaughter them as they leave the field. But remember, this is a civil war. These are still your people. Let them march off the field with their colors. I'm telling you, it's the right answer. It is the way of doing it. Cowboy says, no, not these. These are communist groups. Communist groups want Democrat. The Democrats are benefiting, and they've won. If Republicans throw more troops into this battle, Kaiwan, they're just putting them into a meat grinder. They're putting their troops into a meat grinder. This battle's lost. This battle's lost. And the sad part is, as a Democrats, Vance is right. Democrats are talking about, oh, go do this, go. Republicans, their ecosphere is yelling, don't stop. They're all yelling, don't stop, as they throw their men into meat grinders. Well, now men and women. They're throwing their people into meat grinders. This, I'm not saying the war is over, Kaiwan. I'm saying this battle is over. This battle is over. The Democrats won this battle. I get it. Walk off, retreat, fall back, withdraw, don't retreat, withdraw, regroup, counterattack. This battle's lost. Just move on. Just move on. There are some successes. And Kaiwan goes on to say, they might even start doing this in red states, Larry. Larry Sharpe, I like that. Larry Sharpe, I like that. Yes. No, I don't think so. To be forward, ICE is having successes. He said it in red states. Why? Because they actually are coordinating in red states. They're having victories. They're winning those battles. Win those battles. You can't win in Minnesota. It's done. The battle's over. The battle's over. You've lost it. Democrats won this round. Move on. It is not the right answer. I know you guys who are righteous are going to tell me I'm wrong. Blah, blah, blah. I know. Do it if you want. Ignore me. As most of you do, ignore me, sadly. Most do. And then what happens a year later? I'm right. It is clear. This battle's over. You've lost it, Republicans. This one you lost. You won in Memphis. You won in Texas. You won good. You won those battles. Well done. Pull out of this one. Regroup. Go someplace else. Do something else. You cannot win this thing. You've lost this battle. And if you want to be righteous, great. This is a hill you'll die on. It's the wrong hill to die on. Minnesota is not the right hill to die on, Republicans. It's just not. That's all I'm going to tell you. Do what you see fit. He's showing you why right now. Listen to your boy. He's telling you this is not the hill to die on. It isn't. So Gibson says, I bet you that JD Vance will lose the 2020 presidential election. Yeah, he's finished. This was the wrong thing. Sadly, for many of these people, for many of the Republicans who are supporting Trump, he is not doing what he should be doing. Trump, as I said a month ago, Trump should be focusing inward now. He's falling apart internally, meaning domestically. He's got to rebuild his coalition. He's not doing it. He's got to fix this right now. The only person to fix this right now, the only one, is Trump. That's it. Trump's got to come in and say something like, and look, for those of you who don't like Trump, I know you don't like Trump, but the guy has charisma still. He's a marketer still. He's good at what he does, and his base still loves him. So as mad as you may be, it's still true. He could walk in the store right now and say, hey, guys, look, I'm sorry. I was over trying to save the world and do all these things. I took my eye off the ball. Hey, wait a minute. No. We got to fix this thing. Here's how we're going to fix it. And Trump could unite the clans and regroup this thing. I don't see him doing it, and it's a mistake. He's trying to let guys like Vance fix it. Or Noam. This is a disaster. Noam is finished. I told you this before. A lot of guys didn't believe me when I told you Noam was finished. She's finished. She is finished. She's done. Someone's going to have to pay for this. It will be Noam. She will pay for this. So, what are you going to do? It's how it is. It's how it is. This is a horrible game they're in right now. And that's the piece I want to bring up here. And he's going to keep telling you, watch, he'll finish.
We have a ton of resources, a ton of ICE agents in the city right now that I would rather us not have. I'd love to send those guys home.
That's a smart thing right now. Send those guys to some other city. Walk away from this one right now. I know. I use it all the time. It is so crazy how often I use it. It is the wisdom of humongous. Just walk away. Yes, it is the wisdom of humongous. We should just walk away sometimes.
They're not even doing targeted immigration enforcement. They are trying to protect ICE officers who are doing immigration enforcement, because when a crowd surrounds them and these guys call 911, the local officials, the local cops have been told to stand down.
Okay, and again, here's my point. You knew that. The Democrats, I think was it Mike who brought this up? I forgot what it was. Or was it Kaiwan? Kaiwan brought it up. The Democrats are winning with this. They want this to happen. The chaos is fine. They're not mad at the chaos. You're like, well, they're going to have chaos. And it's why they're winning. Of course they want the chaos. I'm not talking, and many of you get upset because you think I'm not taking a righteous stance. You're often right. I'm taking a realistic stance. These Democrats are winning. The chaos is winning for the Democrats. So why wouldn't they do it? Why wouldn't they do it? So you know it. If I know my enemy wants chaos, why would I encourage the chaos? I should walk away and go, I'm going to leave now because I can't win this damn thing. Because when the cops don't show up, Democrats win. And they don't care. Neither do they. Before, Republicans don't care either. Neither of them care if people getting killed. They don't care. They are literally throwing ICE agents into a meat grinder. A lot of those ICE agents are going to get arrested. They're going to require pardons. If they don't get pardons, they're going to jail. They're probably going to get pardons. But if they don't get pardons, they're going to jail. And the persons are being killed. So they are both sides are purposely throwing people into a meat grinder. I am asking you to stop that. And again, it was obvious. I literally said this, for those who have been watching me, a year ago. A year ago, I said this. And it's happening yet again. Boy, sometimes I'm tired of being right. Boy, sometimes I'm tired of being right. So yes. Masterman Hour says, I have no evidence, but from the very beginning, my gut feeling was CBD goon that disarmed Preddy accidentally squeezed up around, which led to the shooting gallery. That could have happened. It is possible he was scared. It was possible he was scared. I don't know. But the point is, that shouldn't have happened. Stop putting people into a meat grinder. Nooner says, Larry, there are more videos coming from multiple angles. Still a bad shoot. I heard negligent discharge that led to other agents. Total miscommunication. Did you other woman antagonizing agents? Did you other woman? I'm not sure what you meant by that one. But yeah, the part I mentioned yesterday on my show, 2 days ago, yeah, on my Sharpe show, which I brought up, which is, look, let's assume the guy was actually scared. Maybe he was, I don't know. And he fired. Here is my point. If you get that scared when someone's on the ground, no firearm out in hand, it was not in his hand at all. The other guy took it. He was disarmed. So no firearm out. Someone saying, where's the gun or whatever. And you're that with 4 of your guys on top of him. You're that scared that you pull out your firearm and fire. 1, why are you a cop? 2, why did they make you a cop? That is a failure of you picking your job and a failure of them to weed you out. And I know, but he was scared. It's his life. His life's on the line. That's horse shit. Marines have a similar issue. And Marines, we have a code of conduct, right? We can't just shoot people. We have rules of engagement. Well, so should law enforcement. If you're not prepared to deal with those rules of engagement, no worries. Don't become a cop. Nobody forced you to. Don't do it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to follow the rules of engagement. Don't become a cop. And as I always punish leadership, why is the leadership now not weeding these people out? If you're that afraid, why are you here? Do you have that little training? Yes is the answer. Yes, you have that little training that you're that scared. So even if it's true, it's embarrassing. It shouldn't have happened. And again, they keep putting people into the meat grinder. They should stop putting people into the meat grinder. That's the problem.
So we have people here who aren't even doing immigration enforcement. They're doing force protection so that if a rioter tries to ruin the life or assault an ICE officer,
yeah, but they're not doing that. Yes, that's true. Yeah, but he's not doing that. Not doing that. So Patty says he wasn't a cop. He was an ICE agent, but they're making the ICE agent cops. They are. That's the problem. Also, Patty, you're right. Cops have more training than ICE agents. Yes. Yes, you're correct.
they're actually protected. Now,
okay, that's not happening. Okay, ICE agents don't require protection if the cops were coordinated up front, would they? How do we know this? Memphis, he said it. He said it. Yes. So, Nuna says, Larry, I meant, did you see the other woman, not the one in pink, and tied as agents? Bottom line is the whistles cause miscommunication and the proper training cause overreaction. I think both are true. But again, if you have local cops, local cops have been arresting people for literally centuries in this country, for centuries. And it is rare that we have that kind of problem. It happens once in a while, but 3 times in one city in 2 weeks, that's not a thing. That didn't happen during the riots, BLM riots. It didn't happen during that. That's not even during that time did it happen. So you're not wrong. But again, I keep going to the same thing. Why do we keep putting them into the meat grinder? We could just stop. We could just stop. So, yeah, that's my point. But I agree with you. Yes. All righty.
why doesn't it make more sense for the local cops to get involved in that situation?
Yes.
Why not just have the mayor or the local officials tell
Yes.
the police officers, you know what? If an ICE officer is being assaulted by a far left agitator, you are invited. You should.
No, see, he almost had it. JD, you were almost there, brother. Almost. Why not just let local police go after the bad guys and then use ICE to assist them when they don't have enough people or resources or such to use? Just that. Why not? Because what they did, and you guys who don't want to hear this, but because they want to beat Obama's numbers, Noam and crew have given these people a quota system. Yes, a quota system. You have to get X number, I think it's 3,000 or whatever number is. There's a number every day you have to get. You have to get them. Well, you made that quota because you want to beat Obama. You can't beat Obama. Obama had a system. You don't have a system. There's no system for you. Again, I feel like I'm screaming into the void. I've been saying this for a year. It doesn't exist. Why? Larry, of course it existed. Well, then why do you have to hire 80 bazillion freaking agents? Because it didn't. Biden let it all fall apart. It's gone. Obama had it. He had a system. Roy, you're right. Obama also had a yes, he had a system. Yes, correct. Obama had a system. Correct. So did Bush before him and Clinton before him. They all had systems, qualified people, systems. That's how it worked. Biden was like, Biden fell asleep at the wheel, if he was even at the wheel. And now Trump thinks he can walk in the door and make it work. No, we're seeing it now. And having to hire people and throw them into the field with 47 days of training. I'm not joking. 47 days of training and 3,000. What were you thinking was going to happen? Didn't even care. That's the problem. Anyway, sorry.
Actually help them. That's what would work out in any normal situation, and that's what happens in nearly every jurisdiction, red or blue, in the United States of.
Now, here's my question, Mr. J.D. Vance. While you are kind of correct on this one, why didn't you say that to your boss a year ago? Or did you and he ignored you? Why didn't you tell Kristi Noem that a year ago? Or did you and she ignored you? Or you just figured it out? Why didn't you have one of your guys just watch my show? Just have one of your guys. You got a bazillion guys. Have one of them watch my show. I'll teach you how to do this. I'll teach you. Just have one of your guys watch my show and you would know. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. To be forward with you, to be very forward with you, my governor has someone watch my show. So she's getting talking points from me. She's got it. It's free. You don't got to even pay. I mean, you should donate, but you don't have to. You get it for free. Have one of you guys watch my show. This won't happen again. I got you. See? Easy day. Easy day. So let me look over at, this is Rumble. Let's see. RIT Borg, if blue states can be sanctuary cities and states, can red states be fed tax sanctuaries? I hope so. That would be amazing. I would love that. I'm going to hope yes. And I'm going to have a red state and I'm going to go. Yeah, I love that idea. I hope so. Sharpe fan over there says, law enforcement do have rules of engagement. Yes, correct. Marines have rules of engagement. Of course they do. What that's called, for those of you who don't know, what that's called, what that guy did, what that's called is passive resistance. I mean, that's what it's called. Passive resistance. He did not brandish a firearm. That wasn't. Kristi Noem is such a liar. It's embarrassing how much he just lies. These ICE guys are just blatantly lying. Just clearly, blatantly. I tell you, any three-letter agency says anything, assume it's lying. Just assume they're lying. They have to prove they're telling the truth. The opposite. I know people go, well, it's government. Assume they're lying. They have to prove the truth. Whether that's IRS, DHS, FBI, ICE, I don't care. It doesn't matter. If they're a three-letter agency, assume they're lying because they can lie, so they're used to lying. And she's completely lying. He never brandished. He never came out. That never happened. That's a story they're telling you. And if you're a Republican watching that news, like he came out to get them, please stop. It's not even close to true. Use your head here when it comes to that. Use your head here when it comes to that. If this guy was trying to hurt ICE, he had a firearm. Why didn't he just pull out and stop blasting? He didn't. If that was his goal, and they say, he came here trying to hurt ICE. Utter horseshit. Total lie. Do not believe anything a three-letter agency ever tells you, ever. Assume it's a lie. Make them prove it to be true. And ICE is no different. DHS is no different. FBI is no different. CIA is no different. All of them assume they're lying because they usually are. So assume it's a lie, and it's a lie. He was not trying to harm them. He was not trying to shoot at them. That's utter horseshit. Never brandished. And she said that. And brandishing, by the way, is a crime. That's a crime. So she was saying he was a criminal, and he wasn't. That ICE idiot was saying the same thing. And he's trying to kill us with 2 magazines. All of a sudden now, Democrats just became libertarians. Look at that. I know that. They're libertarians now. Democrats all of a sudden went about to have guns now. They're libertarians. Look at that. And all of a sudden, Republicans became Democrats. They became liberals. When did that happen? Damn, it's weird how as soon as this happens, all of a sudden Republicans became Democrats and Democrats became libertarians. Look at that. That's weird. Sharpe goes, I'm sorry. ICE has been under assault now for how long? One of these agents yelled gun. Liberal leaders need to act like they did for President Obama. You're not wrong. And you've hit it perfectly. And this is what J.D. Vance and his crew are not getting it. If they're not going to do what they did with Obama, then you can't do what you want to do without chaos. And when the chaos happens, they thought they were going to win because, see, Republicans thought we have a mandate, and they did. That was an act. They had a mandate. It's true. They thought, well, we got a mandate. We can do whatever we want. You can only push the American people so far. Just how it works. Republicans learned that lesson. Democrats learned that before. Democrats learned that in 2024. They learned that. They learned that. Absolutely. They learned that. So, Sharpe fan says President Obama's system was getting corrupt liberals. Yes, but he also had better people and more people. Yes. Yes, and. That's a yes, and. You are correct. Yes, and. There's an and with that. So, 100%. And again, if you're not going to get it, you just make a deal. Just make a deal. That's it. Make a deal. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap this guy up. I think that's it for him. He's done. But I will grab a couple more of these because there is more. There is more. This one is the Oklahoma governor, Kevin Stitt, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And he's talking about what he thinks we should do. How are we going to fix this problem? He's talking about it too. Huh. Well, what's this guy? This guy's very popular. He's making Oklahoma healthy again. I'm not joking. Moha, that's one of his things. Moha. He's making Oklahoma healthy again. And he's looking at his future. He is. And he's trying to make things work better. Watch out, JD Vance. This might be one of them guys I was telling you about that might come out of nowhere.
Stop the crackdown there. Are you comfortable with what the Trump administration is doing in Minnesota?
Okay, Republican governor of a very red state. Oklahoma is often known as the buckle in the Bible Belt. So it's often known as that. So yeah, very red state. And he comes on CNN. I mean, well done for that. Just showing up on CNN. Well done. Smart move. Glad you did it. And what happens?
Well, first off, this is a real tragedy. And I think the death of Americans, what we're seeing on TV, it's causing deep concerns over federal tactics and accountability. Americans don't like what they're seeing right now. But I want to step back for just a second because President Trump was elected to fix immigration issues. And, you know, there was broad agreement that we had to close the border. So the Biden era of
See, he's right. This is absolutely true. The vast majority of Americans, not all, obviously, some people did not want this, but the vast majority wanted to close the border. He says it. This is a deep red Republican in a deep red state. And what does he say? The vast majority of Americans want to close the border. Not everything else. Close the border is what he said.
4 years of open border policies was disastrous. So
talking about Biden collapsing. True. This is even Democrats say it. Biden dropped the ball completely. Democrats say it. He dropped the ball completely. Absolutely true.
Broad agreement. President Trump closed the border, promised to get violent criminals out of our country.
See that? Even he said it now. What happened to we're going to get them all out? Remember that? What happened to Republicans screaming, if you're illegal, you're a criminal? Remember that? I remember that. I said it was stupid back in the day and it's stupid now. It's impossible. It cannot be done. And you hardcore righties get mad at me. Larry, they're illegal. They're criminals. We got to get rid of them. You cannot. I've been saying it forever and you guys don't listen. And finally, what'd you hear? You just heard JD Vance go, you know, we have to get this criminal. He's a criminal. He's a felon. He didn't say the illegal. He said felon. All of a sudden, JD Vance is talking about focusing on criminals and not worrying about the average guy anymore. No shit. But then why they rile all you Republicans and conservatives up, which they did. They riled you all up, telling you they were going to get them all. Massive deportation, knowing it could never be done. Knowing it could never be done. They talked about how every illegal migrant's a criminal. You heard it all the time. You still hear that on the right-wing stuff all the time. You cannot get rid of it. And all of a sudden, now the shift. JD took him a year to figure this out. Took him a year to figure this out. Well, I'm sorry. A year to stop lying to you. Sorry. Took him a year to stop lying to you. I should say it differently. Took him a year to stop lying to you. So now JD Vance like, well, you know, we were getting this one criminal guy. Okay, I got it. One criminal guy. Now this guy, what's he just saying?
And I think everybody agrees with that.
Yep.
But now Americans are asking themselves, what is the end game?
Whiz.
What is the solution?
What is the end game? What is the solution, this man asks. What is the end game? What's the solution, this man asks. Well, I thought, see, what you Republicans told me a year ago when I told you were full of shit, you told me we're going to deport them all, the most mass deportation ever, without a system, without support from blue cities, with coming off of a broken system from Biden, which wasn't even close to even existing anymore. Somehow you're going to magically get rid of them all. I guess you got magic powers. You don't. So now what's your answer a year later after you riled up all the Republicans, telling them you're going to get them all, they're all criminals, they're all bad, if they're illegal, it's against the law, they broke the law coming here, all that horseshit you told Republicans and got them riled up. So now they're still fighting, still screaming, still yelling. Now what you going to say?
And, you know, we believe in federalism and states' rights.
Federalism now. States' rights.
Nobody likes feds coming into their state.
Nobody likes feds, but you said I should be in. But now nobody likes feds coming to their state now. Huh? Well, look at that smile on his face. See? This guy's getting it. He's going to beat J.D. Vance in the primary. Watch this guy beat J.D. Vance in the primary.
And so what's the goal right now?
What's
Is
the
it
goal?
To deport every single non-U.S. citizen? Look
Look at him smile like, what are you, stupid? Let me, when I saw this, I couldn't believe it. This is why I'm doing a show on this. For this line right there. If you're watching and you are an actual conservative, if you're watching and you are a strong Republican, you were told for a long time, yes, he's right. We're going to get rid of all of them. That's what you were told. You were told they're all evil. They're all, not evil. I'm being exaggerating. You were told that they were all criminals because they came here illegally. That's what you were told. Your leadership lied to your face. They lied right to your face. And when I told you this can't happen, you guys got mad at me. In fact, some of you stopped following me. Larry, you care about the illegals. Blah, 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 blah. Trump's going to make magic happen. Trump's a human being. You can't magically create a system out of nowhere. Don't get me wrong. The guy's got, Trump has charisma. He's a great marketer. And he has a force of will that I have not seen in decades. True, but he's not magic. I know some of you think he's the God King. He's not. He's not magic. This could never work, and they knew it. If I knew it, they knew it. It's not like they didn't know it, and now we smile like, it was never the case. We've always been at war with East Asia. Don't believe your lying eyes. 2 + 2 is 5 because the party says so. Now he look at him smiling. We're going to get rid of all of them? Whoever said that? You. And all your leadership said that. You said that. I'm the one who said, don't do that. You can't do it. It's impossible. But you said it more than once. All your people said it. Stephen Miller's still saying it. Kristi Noem's still saying it. That's why Noem is fired, because you threw her into the wolves. You put her in the meat grinder. She's gone because she's still saying it.
I don't think that's what Americans want. We
No.
have to stop politicizing this. We need real solutions on.
See, now we need real solutions. See that? Okay. So now I'm glad he needs some real solutions. Okay. Mr. Stitt, glad you need some real solutions. So let me ask you, what's your real solution? Throw them all out? Oh, you can't do that anymore. That was a lie. Put them all in jail? No, that was a lie. Okay. What's your solution? And tell me. Amnesty? Can't do amnesty because that's the end of the world. Oh, my God. Can't do amnesty. You're going to have Fox News screaming and yelling. Oh, no, you won't. They'll change their mind. Can't do amnesty.
Immigration reform. And I believe that I've got a great solution that we
should
give the states the authority to do workforce permits, right?
What? The states can do workforce permits. Yes, you heard it. What have I been saying for 8 years? For 8 years, I said we should make local Ellis Islands. Been saying it. It's literally on my fucking website. Been saying it for 8 years. Been 8 years. That's how you fix it. Make local. At the time, I said one in Texas, one in California. That's before Biden's horrible stuff. But now that Biden let them all in, okay, fine. Biden let them in. Got it. Now, we're done now. How do we fix this? Wait a minute. Locally. New York State, I've already said it, should put an Ellis Island in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. And we give them orange cards. We allow them to work. That's what this man, this Republican in one of the reddest states, Oklahoma, just said on CNN. What he just said is Larry Sharpe is right. That's what he just said. Larry Sharpe's been right. Larry Sharpe's been right for years. Why the hell do we listen to that guy? That's what he just said. Now, he won't use my name. I get it. He can't because I'm libertarian and I'm smarter than him. I get it. And better looking, by the way. He's a good looking man, but I still got him beat. Anyway, I mean, he's like an 8. I'm like a 10. So it's fine. Anyway, my point being, I was right.
Are you saying that they should pull out of Minnesota?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I think that the president has to answer that question. He is a.
Thank you. Literally what I said. Should they pull out? He's like, the president got to pull him out. Only the president. Look, I know some of you guys don't like Trump. You get mad at me when I give Trump credit for stuff. I know you do, but I'm trying my best. I'm not perfect at this, obviously, but I'm trying my best to be as neutral as I can be. I'm trying. I mean, I got libertarianism all over me. It comes out every time. I know. I'm trying. I am. He is correct. The only person who can fix this is Trump, if anybody. If Trump doesn't fix this, if he doesn't, this is going to cost him the election. I'm sorry, it's going to cost the Republican Party the election, not him. It's going to cost the Republican Party the election if he doesn't fix this. He is correct. Mr. Stitt is correct. Only Trump can fix this. If he shows up and says, guys, stop, shift and adjust, they'll do it. They'll do it. And he gives someone the reason why. It was because Kash Patel. It was because Pam Bondi. It was because Kristi Noem, whatever. Someone pays the price. Trump can fix this. The question is, will he? He is overdoing some other, I don't know. He's over there doing other, he's at WEF yelling about Greenland. Homeboy. And I call him a homeboy because we're both from Queens. Because I call him, because we're both from Queens. Homeboy. Time to come back and fix your own front yard. Time to clean your own house. Time to make your own bed. You mess around other people's yards. Time to come home. If you like Trump, you should beg him to come home. He's not helping anybody, right? And he sure ain't helping JD Vance. Sure not helping JD Vance.
Deal maker. And he's getting
a
bad
deal maker
advice right now. The president needs to let the American people, what is the solution?
He just called Trump a deal maker. The thing that I've been saying. He's a deal maker. So have him come back and make a deal. That's what Trump does. He's a deal maker. I've been saying this for years. That's who the guy. That's why Republicans get mad at him, because he makes deals that Republicans don't always like. Trump wants to win. That's what that guy cares about, winning. So he wants to win, so he makes a deal. You want to get the people out of here, out of there? You want to go get the Somalis or whatever you want to get? Got it. Make a deal. Make a deal with the local police. Make a deal with the local mayor so that both of you can look like you won. Done. Only Trump could do that. Even he gets it.
How do we bring this to conclusion? And I think only the president can answer that question because it's complicated. We have to enforce federal laws, but we need to know what is the end game. And I don't think it's to deport every single non-U.S. citizen.
He's laughing at that. Boy, if I was a conservative right now and I was listening to this, I would be fuming. I would be feeling so betrayed because you were betrayed. You were told that Trump was going to go through and the Republican Party was going to go through and throw all of them out. That's what you were told. And that was a lie. From the beginning, it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen at all. Never going to happen. And we knew it. And he knew it too. And now he's laughing. He's not some guy. He's a governor in a red state. He's not some guy. That's why he's on CNN. He's looking real smart right now. See, most Democrats who watch him don't know that he was part of the whole group of people who are like, we're throwing them all out, get rid of them all. They don't know that. Democrats go, oh, that's a nice. Democrats hear this and they go, oh, he's like that's a normal Republican. That's what Democrats see. And if you're a Republican, you probably hate this. But if you're a Democrat, you're like, oh, this guy seems okay. That seems like that's what Democrats see when they watch this. When the CNN crowd watches this guy, They go, I like that guy. They literally say, I could vote for that guy. He got solutions. That's literally what Democrats who are watching CNN, most of you are not CNN Democrats, but I know many CNN Democrats, when they watch this, what they're thinking, that guy makes some sense. I could vote for that guy. They're thinking that. And he knows it. That's why I went on CNN. Smart move. Governor Stitt. Well done. Well done. Well done. So, yes. Wanted to show you guys that if I could. Let me grab a couple of comments from Rumble. Space Jason says, this is disingenuous. The two who were killed were both part of a signal chat disrupting ICE activities and causing total chaos. Their stated goal, which is in the writing, is to cause exact chaos. Dropping black pills, I'm hardcore right and never thought they'd get every illegal. But if GOP is going to let the left dictate how they govern while L's laugh in our face, then I'm checked out. 2 parts, Space. I'll touch both of those two, Space. Number one, it's not disingenuous. Disingenuous would be like you were trying to lie. They weren't lying. Their goal was absolutely that, to cause chaos. You're right. That's not disingenuous. That's forward. They wanted that. The local people there, I'm sorry, not local people. The leadership there, they wanted it too. So they were happy. You think for 1 minute that the Democratic leadership is mad those kids are dead? They're not. I don't mean to be cruel, but I'm being honest. They're not. This is great for them. They're raising money up. Again, guys, I tell you this, I get the emails. I'm signed up. This is my world. I get the emails. Got to stop and abolish ICE and blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. Right? They're fine with it. And now it goes, dropping black pills. I'm hardcore right and never thought they'd get every legal. Okay. Maybe you didn't, Space Jason, because you're savvier. But I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of people who thought that. A whole lot. Maybe not you, but a whole lot did. And then he goes on to say, but if GOP is going to let the left dictate how they govern while L's laugh in our faces. Okay, not dictate. Sometimes you have to recognize when the battle is lost. I say this as someone who's lost many battles, both personally, politically, and business-wise. I've lost many battles. I try to accept when I've lost the battle and move on. It is not easy. It stings and it hurts. With that in mind, they've lost this battle, Space Jason. Doesn't mean the war's over. Sometimes you lose battles. This one they've lost. That doesn't mean they're letting the left dictate. It means you try to fight and you lost. Sometimes lose battles, and that's hard. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you agree, but at least I hope it makes sense what I'm saying at least. So yes. Recovering know-it-all. I know who you are. Don't tell me I know who you are. Yes. It says, no one can ever say you don't like saying I told you so. I love saying I told you so. I am, though, tired of being right and watching people die when if they just listened to me, they wouldn't. That I'm tired of. It bothers me that all they would have to do is pay attention, and that would happen. Anyway, let me do a super chat. I have a super chat, which from D. When can we expect a formal announcement of Take the Line? My cyberbullying of Blakeosaurus is going to go into overdrive after the announcement. I will be making an announcement this week. The problem is there are lots. How do I explain this? For those of you who haven't dealt with this, the Board of Elections and the rules that they have within Republican Party, Libertarian Party, Board of Elections is purposefully a horrible, horrible, unfair, crazy maze meant to make sure nobody can ever do anything except for the elites. It is made that way on purpose, and it's very good. It's why no one else is even doing this independently except for me. That's the reason why, because no one could even handle it. It's impossible. And if I said, Larry, it's impossible, it's literally impossible. I'm the only guy with any chance of doing it. So, yes, I will try to make this happen very soon. And I will announce this week. I promise this week there'll be an announcement. So, yes, it will come this week. I know that isn't perfect, but it will be this week. All right. So, I want to grab a bunch of comments. I know that you guys have some, and I want to grab them to the best of my ability. Cage, John, thank you for the membership 2 months. Gee, if only there was someone who had real solutions. Yeah, I know. The funny part is that now they figured out my ideas have been on have been on Joe Rogan, have been on Glenn Beck, have been on my shows, have been literally in newspapers. They've been all over the place. On my website, when I ran, on my events. I've been saying this forever. And here's the worst part. The YouTube gurus, and the Facebook gurus have shadow banned me so hard that no one else can hear them. So it's their fault too? Yes. Yes. Because the people who are yelling and telling, to Space Jason's point, hey, let's go out and stop the ICE and abolish ICE and all that stuff, they're loud and everyone's hearing them. And the opposite, right? Oh, we're going to deport all the illegals. If you're illegal, you're a criminal. They all got to go. They're hurt all day long. They're hurt all day long because they fight each other. I'm the guy trying to give you a solution. Shut that guy up. Shut that guy up. That's what I get all the time. So Yamir says, Larry for Governor of New York. Thank you. John, some says we need some Governor Sharpe. Thank you. Patty says New York needs to look sharp. True. Phil says New York needs some sharp solutions. True. All true. Yes. All true. Yes. By the way, D, thank you for the super chat. Guys, if you want to help out, you can. Make sure by clicking the like button. Like button's free. Like button's free. Click that like button if you can. Repost this. Somebody take this and put this into a Facebook page. Put this, share this on X, whatever the case may be. Share it. It does matter. Every bit counts. Please do so. The like button's free. Do so. If you want to support me, please go ahead and go over to donate. LarrySharpe.com/donate. If you want some cool merch, LarrySharpe.com/shop. All good too. You can super chat me if you want to right to the front. LarrySharpe.com/super chat. I'm trying to grab them as fast as I can. Let's take some time. And also, volunteer if you want to. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. Join SEAL Team Sharpe. I could use every bit of help if at all possible. By the way, announcing that we have raised over $100,000. Yes, indeed. Thank you guys, those who supported me. We have raised over $100,000. Our next hit, I hope, is going to be $500,000. That's what I would like to have, if possible. That would be amazing. So I'm working towards that next. That is my next goal, is to get past $500,000. Now I have raised $500,000 more than once in the past. I raised $500,000 in 2018 and 2022. So it shouldn't be that hard to do. At least I hope not. Not just that. Guys, for those of you who live in New York State or somewhere near New York State, if you want to come see me, you can. You can come see me this Saturday, January 31st, if you want to, at 2 p.m. at Mahoney's Irish Pub and Steakhouse in Poughkeepsie, New York. Or you can see me at 6:30 p.m. at the Alexis Diner on North Greenbush Road in Troy, New York. So feel free to come by to either of those if you happen to be there. Again, it is free to come. Happy to have you. I would like you to please support the local establishment. If you're not in a good financial spot, just buy a beer or a cup of coffee or a soda, whatever you can. If you're in a good place financially, please come and buy a meal. Please buy a meal if you are in a good financial spot. But you can just come and just have a soda, cup of coffee, something. Just come on by. Love to have you. This is not that's not a fundraiser. If you want to give me money, always give me money. Happy to take it. But this is not that. Just come talk to me, chat. You will see that I am actually the same guy that I'm here. I'm the same dude. I don't change. I'm the same guy. The guy you hear here is the same guy. You'll meet me there. So, all right. Rick Boss says, I'd rather have 30 million illegal aliens here with our Bill of Rights restored than this. True. I hope that's not our only options. I hope that is not our only options. I really do. But if those are my only two options, I'll take it. If that's all I had. Yes. Nosy says, Larry the Sharpe governor. Ooh, I like that. That's a good one too. All righty. Let's see here. I grabbed that one already. You like my purple? Yes. I don't mind wearing colors. I'm happy to do so. So Audrey, I think you might be a bot. Conservatives think they're helping their cause by pretending that murder was fine. They aren't. It just shows the more Republicans that there will never be a line crossed on atrocity that goes too far. There's a part of this that's true. I don't think that most conservatives are pretending the murder is fine. I don't think so. I think some have believed because of what they've seen and heard that it's okay. I don't think they're pretending. I don't think that's true. And some aren't. Some are like, no, this is wrong. But again, here's the issue. If you're a conservative and you think the murder was wrong, okay, great. What's your alternative? That's the problem, right? The same problem. If you think this is the Gestapo, okay, great. What's the alternative? It's not Democrats. That's the problem. We're in this terrible left-right paradigm. And what has been the issue is people are checking out or going independent. That's what they're having. They're checking out or going independent. These are both not the right answer. I mean, independent's fine, but you got to vote for somebody. That's how it's working. So we got to have more people on the ballot. So yes. All right. Looking over at, okay. I'm looking at Instagram. It's Hokey Egg. You're fantastic, Larry. Same in person. I'll testify to. Thank you. Yes, I'm the same person. Absolutely. Yes. Recovering know-it-all. That's Phil, by the way. He's like, contest to Larry's same guy comment. Met him 20 years ago. It's true. Yep. And the only thing that had changed is added wisdom. Oh, thank you, Phil. I appreciate that, brother. Phil's a very smart guy. So yes. Yes. That's why he's recovering know-it-all. What happens when you're super smart? He is. So yes. All righty. Let me walk down some of these roads if I can. All righty. Got that one already. Okay. You guys going back and forth. I appreciate that. I like the back and forth you guys are doing. Matchman House says, carry your paper, sheeple. Let's not do that. I hope we don't have to do that. But you know, I'll tell you a funny story, Matchman Hour. And it's a story that my dad taught me when I was very young. For those of you who know, I'm black on my dad's side. And my dad always taught me, he said, no matter what, you never leave the house without ID. Ever. He told me when I was little. I was probably 8. I used to have a school ID and a bus pass. And he had a little wallet for me. And I had to have my school ID and my bus pass in my pocket all the time. When I left the house, I had to have it. He would not let me leave the house without ID. He's like, you always have to have ID. And be forward. My father was in law enforcement. He was a New York City cop first, and then he was a corrections officer on Rikers Island. And he was like, never, ever. It's so burned into my skull that I still keep my wallet by the door to this day. And that was burned into my skull like 50 years ago. And I still, to this day, if I cross the street to go to the deli, I put a wallet in my pocket. I have ID on me at all times. You will not find me leaving the house to this day not having ID on me. So I do carry my papers, but for a different reason. But again, also remember my father, he was raised in the 40s. So a little bit different there. My father was raised in the 40s. He was born in the 30s. He was raised in the 40s. So there we go. There is that. But that's where he comes from. So I do understand the having ID piece. I do. I understand that piece. So, and some of you will know what I'm talking about. Some of you may not, but yes. Shelley says, Trump should be pushing Vance's kids to the White House to give that JFK appeal. It would be much better than threatening everyone, veiled or otherwise. You know, that's not a bad idea. That's actually pretty savvy, Shelley. Yeah. I mean, I think JD does kind of push his kids a bit, which is a smart move. People like that. They like family. They like kids. It's positive. I do like that. But maybe Trump should, but Trump doesn't like sharing the spotlight, right? He likes to be, he'd rather, you know what? If that's the case, Trump should push his grandkids. And that worked. If you remember, in 2024, when the Republicans ran the convention, one of the things they did was they actually brought out Trump's grandkids to make him more likable. Now, the reality of it is Trump is very good he's very good at projecting strength. That's one of Trump's strengths, projecting power and strength. He's not very good at projecting empathy. He isn't. But when he's around his grandkids, he does. And it worked very well. They had him do that, and it worked well. People are like, oh, he's not just scream at you. He's also grandpa. So I do think that was it's a positive thing. So yeah. All righty. Rick Paul says, this is the fruit of tree of knowledge of good and bad. Eating this fruit is our humanity. It's our birth. It's our human birth. And now you know. I don't know. I guess so. Maybe. HVAC Soldier says, Republicans want chaos also. If Republicans get chaos, they can declare martial law and cancel future elections. I don't think so, no. I don't. Let me tell you why. Because it's failing, right? I think they tried that, HVAC. They tried that. And how did they do it? They did it by saying, oh, they're domestic terrorists, which did not land. Did not land. The only people who bought that were the hardcore Trump supporters. Anyone who was not a hardcore Trump does not believe domestic terrorists. They believe that they're activists or whatever. That they believe because it's true. They are activists. That's accurate. And people believe that. The leftist activists, many of them are, so that's true. But they're not domestic terrorists. That's not real. People aren't getting that. They're not thinking of it that way. I think they're the Taliban in America. They're not believing that. Most Americans don't believe that. Most Americans aren't buying it. You got to have a larger chunk of Americans buy that, right? And right now they're not. Now, could it happen in the future? Maybe. I mean, Americans can believe some shit, so maybe. But at the moment, That's not the case. At the moment, Americans are not doing that. So, yeah. I don't think right now. Maybe they thought that, perhaps, but they're seeing, you can see they're backing off now. They're backing off now. Now, Trump may not back off. He tends to double down. So he may not. So thank you, K. John, for gifting of the Library Sharpe membership. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the help. I appreciate it. Always good. Thank you. Yes, always good. So, all righty. I want to keep grabbing some of these. All right, we did this. All right. Rick Potts says, when you know the game is rigged, you are unburdened of the attachment to winning. Interesting case. But then maybe. But then do you think, how do I spin the system to get the win? Right? I'm trying that. So maybe that's what it is. It could be that. So, yeah, maybe. All righty. Mastermind Hour says, Sun Tzu suggests you give them a golden bridge to retreat. Yes. Yes. Exactly. 100%. Let them walk away. Oh, and Phil, thank you for the membership. Guys, thank you. I appreciate the membership. Please keep going. I appreciate that. Yes. Looking over at Instagram, and Phil says, similar to you, I cannot leave my home without my ID and my medical alert bracelet. Smart. Yes. Both cases, very smart. Absolutely smart. Good. All righty. Roy says, Obama deported more than Trump without executing moms in cars and men protecting women. Anti-liberty. Trump admin lying about both victims, expressed no remorse, killing people for legal carry. You're not wrong. This is the sad part. Trump has been almost silent on this, really. He's walked away, which is the problem, which is why you got Stitt out there trying to fix this. He can't. JD Vance desperately trying to put stuff together. Ain't working. But they're trying because Trump's not involved in this, and he should be. But the admin, they put Gnome and that D8 and that DHS, well, no, ICE guy up, utterly, even Vance, blatantly lying. Utterly, again, if a 3-letter agency says it, it's probably a lie. And they're blatantly lying. Totally correct. No, and no remorse. Well, no, you know, let me pull that back. Initially, Vance showed no remorse. But this last one, I think he learned his lesson, Roy, and he started saying, it's a tragedy, so sorry. Stitt was smart, came right out with remorse. That was a smart move. He did. But no, I think they're figuring out the no remorse part. That's not working. But this is a common thing. Whenever law enforcement kills somebody, the first thing hardcore right people do is validate why they deserved it. It's the first thing they do. It's the thing, he deserved it. Deserved it. Why? Because I can't accept that law enforcement did something wrong ever. Now, to be forward, people say, Larry, you anti-law enforcement. I'm not. My father was in law enforcement. Law enforcement officers, whether they're ICE or state troopers or cops, are human beings. They're people trying to do a job to the best of their ability. That's what they are. They're just people. They're not magic and they're not bad. They're not all cops are bad. It's garbage. It's not true. They're just people trying to do a job to the best of their ability. You give them a crappy system, you have crappy outcomes. Not just that. Some of them suck. Like some of everything sucks. Some teachers suck. Some truck drivers suck. Some cops suck. Some of everybody sucks is how it works. So when you've got a sucky cop, though, often people really pay a price. So you must punish them effectively. If you don't punish the sucky ones, we see it in teaching. If you don't punish the sucky teachers, you get worse outcomes. So yes, you should be remorseful when these bad things happen. Absolutely. So, and then he goes on, killing people for legally carrying. All right. This is my other point. Roy, you're hitting them all. You're hitting them all. All right. I thought Republicans were for the Second Amendment. I thought Republicans thought Kyle Rittenhouse was the right guy, doing the right thing. I thought that's what was the case. I thought Kyle Rittenhouse was just exercising his Second Amendment. If that's true, wasn't Alex doing the same thing? Then I got the worst FBI director on the planet ever, not ever, but recently, saying you cannot come to a protest carrying a loaded weapon with magazines. All of a sudden, Kash Patel, Mr. Cool Republican, I'm supposed to be hardcore, I care about my Bill of Rights, is like, you can't have a gun. Second Amendment? Second what? The Second Amendment became a second suggestion all of a sudden. All of a sudden, Republicans all of a sudden became Democrats. What happened with that? And all of a sudden, Democrats became libertarians. Correct on all aspects, Roy. Yes, and yes. Kai one says, He took my problem with Trump right now. Oh, I think it is. He's too loyal to the business. Is that property from legal aliens? He's too corporate warlord. I'm not sure where you're going with this one. I'm not sure you're going with this one. I can't get this one. I'm sorry, my friend. I can't. PlayStation says Kyle Rittenhouse did not impede law enforcement. He was assaulted by rioters. Yes, but that's what they're saying. See, this is the point, Space. That's not what they're saying. If you heard what he said, his words were not, you can't impede law enforcement. That's not what Patel said. What he said was, you cannot come to a protest with a legally owned firearm. That's what he said. He said legally. He said with a firearm. Loaded. He said loaded. He said, you can't come to a protest with a loaded fire. That's what he said. The argument that the left had against Rittenhouse wasn't, if you remember, it wasn't that he shot the guy. That wasn't the left's argument. The left's argument was, why was he there with a gun? That was the left's argument. It's his fault. He was asking for it. That was the left's argument, right? It was, they didn't even fight in self-defense. They didn't fight on that. What they fought was, if you remember, why did he traveled? Remember they said he crossed state lines. All of a sudden they cared about state lines. Democrats, he crossed state lines with a loaded semi-automatic weapon that could fire 1 billion rounds a minute and slaughter millions. That's what they said. Remember that was the story? Well, now Patel's saying that story. If you notice, Patel didn't mention that, and the Democrats at the time did not mention the fact that he was impeding law enforcement or he was assaulted by rioters. They didn't say that. That wasn't their argument. Their argument was he shouldn't have been there in the first place. He shouldn't have had the gun. He was asking for it. That was the Democratic argument back then. If you remember it, I remember it very well because it was bullshit then. It's bullshit now. And now Patel's like, see, why was he there with a gun? Bullshit argument then, bullshit argument now. You get to, particularly in Minnesota, you got concealed carry there. You get to carry a firearm on you if you want to. Now, you don't get to brandish it. You don't get to pull it out on law enforcement. You don't get to do that. I agree. So, yes. Sharpe fan says, some people do decide to commit suicide by cop. True. That is a thing. This was not the instance with these two. Correct. I still place the blame on the people encouraging them to confront the armed federal agents in their job. Make no mistake, liberal leaders are happy bad things have happened because they used to raise money and produce campaign ads. Okay, you're not wrong. However, I'm going to put a however in there. I'm literally saying this, and this is why the right has made the error. This is the era of the Republican Party, this part of it. You're right, Sharpe fan. And I knew that. You knew that. We knew that. And Republicans still did it. Why didn't they go, this is a bad idea? If we do this, there's going to be chaos and Democrats going to win. Because I think they thought they could use the chaos to their advantage. When it failed, now they're doubling down. No. You had a plan. Your plan failed. The Democrats won. You should have known better because I told you, but you didn't listen. Retreat, withdraw, regroup, counterattack. This battle was lost. So, yes, some people want death by cop. They did not. I agree. The blame is on them. Yes, but again, you know it. That is my issue. Is there is that so many people on the right are like, but they did it on purpose. But you knew it. And if you're Republican leadership, you should have never walked into this in the first place. Again, you heard J.D. Vance say it. You heard Stitt say it. This is not me saying it. It's them saying it. They're agreeing with what I'm saying now. These are two prominent people in Republican leadership saying, yeah, this has got to end. Trump's got to come in and stop it. They both basically said, without saying it, Trump's got to come in and stop it. And I said Trump's going to stop this last month. I said it last month. Trump needs to start working on his own house. He's off there doing stuff and whatever. No. Your house on fire, brother. Your house on fire. What are you doing? So, yes. Mike says, I don't think that Republicans understand is that Democrats are more than happy to have their people getting shot in the streets if they can win the optics. True, but Republicans also are throwing these. Look, they did it to the J6ers. They threw them to the wolves. Now, Trump, in the long run, pardoned all of them, which made everything worse. He should have pardoned those who didn't do violence. He should have, but he didn't. He just did it, that was dumb, but he did it. But before that, he let him rot in jail for how many years? Threw him in. They're throwing the ICE agents into the meat grinder too. So yes, both of them true. Phil says Donald Trump is too busy playing Pokemon with foreign leaders. True. Edmar says Trump is the best president ever. Are you serious on that one? Maybe. Okay. All righty. Lunar Eclipse. Oh, talking to Roy. Obama assassinated U.S. citizens without due process, no trial. Also true. Michael's going to say, no Bondi only to be fired to save Trump administration. I'm not sure all of them. I think one has to fall. I don't know how many have to fall, but I think at least one, maybe two, but at least one has to, right? I can't see one of them not doing it. So yes. Massman Howard says pardons won't be quite that simple if they get charged by the state for murder. True, but there's an issue. When you have criminal cases like this, they can choose someone has to choose where you go. And what I mean by that is, Massman Howard, even though it is a state charge, you're right. They can request to go to a federal court because it was a federal action. If it's allowed to go into a federal court, he might be able to pardon them. I don't think that's been done before. I don't think there is a precedent for that. So Trump would just go pardoned and it'll go to the courts. That would be my assumption. Right now, if they somehow don't get it into a federal court, you're right. But if it gets into a federal court, and it seems awkward, there's a nuance here in the law, right? If it is a state charge, but the people doing it were under federal jurisdiction when they did the thing, you can request it to go into a federal court because they are federal agents, if that makes any sense. Now, if that happens, which if I'm their lawyer, of course, I'm doing that. Of course, I'm trying to get me a pardon from Trump. Of course I do that, right? It makes total sense. So if they do that, and if they get to a federal court, then it might get pardoned. But yes, not simple, you're right, but still could be done. It depends upon how that flows. So yes. All righty. Shelley says, the most telling is the shooting is the other officers running from the gunfire. Yeah, but the other part is they fired 10 rounds at him. 10 rounds. I think 6 hit him or whatever. I forgot how many hit. They fired 10 rounds at him. 10 rounds? Had to do with no gun? Who's on the floor? Really? Terrible. So Phil says the weapon the protester had is known for going off randomly when dropped. Not sure if that's relevant here, but it's interesting. It wasn't dropped. The other agent had it in his hand. There's a little pictures of it. I showed it last 2 nights ago. Literally in his hands. Yeah. He was disarmed, and the guy, what happened was people were saying, where's the gun? Where's the gun? They were saying that. Where's the gun? Where's the gun? And then one of the guys went to him and took the gun off him. He was disarmed at the time. That's true. He was disarmed. People on the right going, no, it's AI, whatever. It's not. He was disarmed. You don't believe me? Don't believe me. I don't care. But he was disarmed, and he was disarmed at the time because one of the agents had the firearm with him, pulled it out and was walking away. People were yelling, where's the gun? Where's the gun? Somebody got scared and started shooting. So yes. Let's see here. Roy goes gonna say, yeah, if that's interesting, because if it went off, the government agent had it in his hand. So yeah. Yep. Kai One says, no, I really was. They thought they can hire a few goons to be ICE agents. You really need a guy like a trained soldier, military. Yes, this is Roy's point, right? In the past, we had highly trained agents, which is what you should have. That's what you should have. Well, you didn't have that under Biden. You can't. It's like you think you can't just rebuild something like that in 5 minutes. It's not how it works. It is physically impossible. I mean, I hate to be saying this 45 times, but it's impossible. It's why I said it was never going to work. It was never going to work. So, all right. Okay. I covered that piece already. Okay. Covered that piece already. I'm trying to cover all these if I can. Okay, so many of these are. Masterman goes on to say, we are getting to Rodney King levels of insanity. I hope not. I really hope not. Right? Andrew says, and Mayor Young has outright denied the feds and local police were working together, which only caused more of a communication disarray of all things. True. I don't know how I'm just going to say it. This should be a local police force issue supported by ICE resources. Look, to be forward, a lot of police forces are overwhelmed with what they're trying to achieve. Some of them don't know the rules and regulations on ICE, whatever the case may be, but they know their local areas. That's why they're local police. That's why it's rare for this kind of thing to happen when local police are involved. It does happen. Police aren't perfect. They make mistakes too, but it's much rarer. So let the local police go, no. This is where Bad Pablo is. We're going to go in there. I only got one dude I can do this. So can I get some ICE people to help me out? Yes. Can I get maybe some ICE weaponry? Or can I get some ICE intelligence? Can I get some ICE bodies, right? Can I get an ICE vehicle that I can put them away in because I don't have many, whatever. A lot of times local police forces are strapped. It's true. Okay. You know what? Send the officer out and don't use all the police force cars. Like the police cars have their own cars, their own thing. Use an ICE car, but have the cop lead it. Still would work, right? There's so many ways they could have worked together on this. You are correct. There are so many ways they could have done it. Did not. So, yes. Chris says, partisan politics called the pushback on the police state. Of course. Yes, of course. It's far left agitators and Gestapo. Why are we surprised, Chris? Of course. It's far left agitators and Gestapo. Of course it is. Of course it is. So, yes. So Roy says, if these two executions happen on Obama, Republicans would have already voted to impeach. They are trying to impeach Noam already. They're trying to impeach Noam. They're already trying to. And that's why I think she's gone. I called her being gone like a while ago. She was the sacrificial lamb. Yeah. Yes. It's terrible. She was going to be gone a long time ago. And she's gone. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Shelley says, I think they were x-raying the crowd because how did they know he had a concealed carry? I think they saw it. He might have even mentioned it, right? Because it was just in his belt. It wasn't like he was hiding it that well. So yeah. So it shouldn't have mattered. So, all righty. Let's see here. A couple of that piece. That's between you guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting back and forth. You guys going between each other. I appreciate that. Nunes says, Larry, didn't more police shootings occur under Obama than under the president? Where was the outrage Obama deported illegals even without due process, even had kids in cages? No, you're not wrong. Obama was a big deporter. And the cages that Trump used, Obama built. You're not wrong. If you think I'm giving Obama a pass, you think I'm giving Biden a pass? I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not giving him a pass. I hope you don't think I am. If you think that I'm giving them a pass, I'm miscommunicating then. I'm not giving them a pass at all. What I'm saying is, in fact, I'm blaming Biden for most of this because he either let it happen or purposely did it or whatever, or the auto pen, whatever. If you go this is not a Democrat-Republican issue. The Democrats, Republicans try to make it that. It's not. It's not. Trump deported, Obama deported, Bush deported, Clinton deported. None of them let everybody in. None of them did. Democrat, Republican. They all had their own rules. They all were pretty good. It was easy to be a sanctuary city under those guys. Of course you could. You could virtue signal all day, be a sanctuary city. Hardly anybody was coming across the border. Relatively. Hardly anybody. So fine. What do you care if you're a sanctuary city? You don't care. Reagan gave him amnesty back in the 80s. So it's whatever, right? Biden made it to where it was trashed. And then Trump thought he was Superman. He's going to fix it in 2 weeks. That's who that was never going to happen. And again, here's my biggest point. All right, I'm a smart guy. True. But I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not the smartest guy in the country, in the room sometimes. If I know it, they know it. Right? I'm the only guy who knew it. I'm that smart. Only I knew. No one else did. Come on. Right? They knew it too. And they still talk trash. and they got people all riled up. The amount of people I know drives me crazy because I talk to them and I tell them these are mostly conservative people who I'll speak to, and I'll say, look, you can't get rid of them all. You got to get rid of all the illegals. They're criminals because they came. Why are they so riled up about that? Why? Because their leaders told them they would do it. Because their leaders told them they would do it. Knowing they couldn't. Knowing they would never. J.D. Vance finally came clean, and Stitt came clean. They were never going to do it. It was all a story. It was never going to happen. And there we go. All righty. Let's see here. Andrea says, do you think Holman will make a deal? You know what I got to tell you? You bring up a very important point, Andrea. This is good. Okay. Holman he was one of my worries. As if I mentioned earlier, Holman is a zealot. However, this is a valid point. This goes back to only Nixon can go to China. If Holman makes a deal, Republicans will accept it. I think you've hit a good point here. If I'm Trump, I make Holman make the deal. It's not a bad idea. Holman is absolutely a zealot. Everyone knows he's a zealot. Goes on Fox News screaming out what a zealot he is. He's a zealot. If he makes a deal, that's like Nixon going to China, right? Nixon was heavy anti-communist, and he went to China. They went, okay, what's going on here? If Holman makes a deal, get rid of Nome, put Holman doing something, and have Holman make a deal. Make a deal with the cities, make a deal with the states, make a deal, have Trump broker it, whatever. That could work. That's a doable way of making this work. That could be done. I think that's savvy thinking, Andrea. I like that. Let's hope they're thinking that savvy, because Holman is absolutely a zealot. If he makes a deal, a lot of people will accept it. I agree with that. Yes. All righty. Ken says, the only thing you can tell from the video is he was recording using his phone, directing traffic and trying to help a person up. An ICE agent pushed to the ground. Is this proof of anything else? Let's see it. There isn't. You're exactly correct. The ICE agents were wrong. There is no doubt. They're absolutely wrong. And I know people don't want to hear it, but they're going to require a pardon because they're in trouble. That's all I'm telling you. They're absolutely wrong. So yes, they're wrong. It's not going to work. Andrew says, and if it gets worse, when you look at Obama's coordination programs, Obama tried local federal coordination twice via secure communities, and PEP, they promised to go after the bad guys. Holding you another one there. See if I can find it here. Can I find your second one? Resulted in over half of deportations not having any sort of convictions whatsoever. Only 26% have criminal convictions. 88,000 families of U.S. citizens were arrested. Hundreds of counties refused. Again, not giving Obama a pass. He did it. He was the deporter in chief. It's true. The deporter in chief. But generally speaking, most governors and most mayors were like, yeah, it's fine. There were some people who fought back. You're right. But most like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. Yep. Totally changed. Biden was the exception. He was the exception. So, yeah. All right. I'm glad I got both of those. Let's see here. Where am I here? So many of these here. You guys go. I love you guys going back and forth. I love that. Gracie says, a lot of the right still distrust the feds pretty much no matter what. Yes. A lot of libertarians too. Gracie. I don't agree with their sentiment, but those Republicans still exist enough numbers to sway an election. Also true. Yes. Look, right now, the way it's going, and they've been saying it. Republicans are saying it right now. They are saying it. If Trump doesn't come back and fix this, the Republican Party is going to get slaughtered in 2026. There is only one person who can save this. There's only one. It's Trump or something. Stitt can do whatever he wants. J.D. Vance can do a song and dance all day long. Can maybe they slow the bleeding a bit? Yeah, they can. Vance isn't that bad. Neither is Stitt. They'll say, something, right? Nome is terrible. She makes things worse. Patel is terrible. Bondi's terrible. They all make things worse, right? So maybe can those other two guys kind of make things a little bit, but maybe. But only Trump can fix this. Or it's not getting fixed. So Ken says, the good thing I can say about Stitt is his path to 0 state income tax. Incremental decrease from around 4% to 0%. Who else talked about going from 4% to 0%? Oh, wait, me. That's weird. How Stitt is basically, Stitt's people must be watching All right, Stitt, guys, you're watching my stuff. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're watching because you basically have my policies. Great. I love it. I love it. Patty says, from what I've read, libertarians believe in open borders. Many libertarians do. Many do. But I would say no one who's running for office actually does believe just in open borders. That's not true. Well, maybe Chase Oliver might. Maybe he might. But few libertarians who are actually running for office do. But many theoretical libertarians believe in open borders. It's true. Many do. I'm not one of them, but many do. You will find many of them that do. It's true. All right. Doc says, I think it means rounding. Rounding up every illegal immigrant is like rounding up every unregistered gun. Yeah. You can keep trying. Yes. Sarah's back. Sarah, I think I owe you a phone call. I will reach out to you. Larry, I've been staying away from politics for my own health, but I needed some of your sanity. I miss you and your amazing community. Welcome to the Force Trump's hand. 16 Republicans plus Dems to end ICE. I think you have to have a plan to deal with ICE. I don't think the status quo is prepared to end ICE. If you notice, until recently, Dems were funding ICE. They were talking trash about abolishing it, but then funding it. Now they're like, wait a minute, we're going to hold stuff up and government shutdown and stuff. Maybe, but here's what I think. They're going to make a deal because they always do. So I think that's how you deal with it. You make a deal where, okay, reality, I've been saying before, Trump's got to come in, maybe Homan, Andrea, savvy move with Homan. Maybe they come in, make a deal, pull back, withdraw. You've lost this battle. Fight someplace else. Fight someplace else. I think that'll happen. Gracie goes, getting all illegals out is like putting every drug dealer in jail. You just don't have the resource to do it. You don't want the government that big to get every legal or criminal or whomever. Yes, I don't want a government that's effective enough to round up 20 million people. I don't. Johnson, thank you for gifting the membership. I appreciate that. Sarah, also, thank you for becoming a member. Jesus, wow. So thank you. Thank you. Super chat to come. Can't make it work right now. Live, what can we do today to improve the situation? People feel despair and powerless. Yes, I've been giving you answers. Here's the good. This actually is good news, Sarah. I know people don't always see it, but this is good news. What I mean by this, the things I've been saying for years are now coming to pass. Why do I sit here every week and hoop and holler? Why do I go on the shows and do this? Why do I run for office and do this? Why do I keep doing this? So that people can hear what I'm saying. I use this all the time, and I'm never going to stop till the day I drop dead. I'm not going to stop doing this. The end of when I was on Joe Rogan, he said, Larry, you got some great ideas. How'd you come up with them? I said, well, me and my team put them together. He goes, you better lock those ideas down. I said, why? He said, people take them. I said, take them. Fix my state. I can stop doing this. So here's the good news, Sarah. This is some positive news. They're listening. They're figuring it out. JD Vance is like, this ain't going to work. We have to coordinate. Duh. Yes. For those who are paying attention, I literally said this a year ago after Trump was inaugurated. And he was talking about this stuff. And I said, it's never going to happen. Remember, I said he's never going to end the war in 24 hours. Fantasy. Never going to happen. Never going to get rid of all the illegals. Never going to happen. Fantasy. I said all those things. Coming to pass. How do you fix it? Local cops take the lead in everything. ICE's support. That's how it works. When they need it, how they need it. That's support, right? That's what I said months ago. Coming to pass. Not just that. I said local states have to be able to find a way to deal with work permits. I called it my local Ellis Islands, and now she's talking about it here in Oklahoma. This is actually good news. This is good news. Sarah, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I'm glad you came aboard today. This is good news. I know it seems like it's bad. This is actually good news. Hopefully, these people's deaths will mean something. I hope it will mean something. I hope we'll make some real change. I don't know if we will, but I hope it will. So, and there's some good signs. This is a good sign, right? It's a good sign. Maybe Trump will stop yelling at Europeans and come home and fix this place. Maybe he will. I hope he will. We'll see. So Phil says over on Instagram, the issue for me is that the law enforcement system is based on qualified immunity and absolute immunity. True. They cannot remove the foundation or Jenga piece of an officer's safety and make it seem like they're fallible. Agreed. Now, look, I've said this before. The idea of absolute immunity, this is what absolute immunity means. I'm going to explain to you what the logic. It's bogus logic, but it is logic. The logic is if the president gives an order for federal agents to go do something, whatever that thing is, if the president has absolute immunity, which the Supreme Court insanely, stupidly said he has, wow, that's insanely dumb, but they did. Our Supreme Court has yet again failed us. So the president is now a God king. They've said that. He can do whatever he wants. So now the logic is, well, I can do what I want. So if I order someone to do it, then they have the same immunity I have. An attack upon the king's guard is the same as attack upon the king. Remember that movie, Braveheart? This is what we have now. An attack upon the king's guard is the same as an attack upon the king. So an attack upon the ICE agent is the same as an attack upon the president. That's their logic. I'm not joking. Some of you just threw up in your mouth a bit. I know, I'm not joking. That's actually their logic. So the ICE agent has absolute immunity because the president gave the order to do so, and the president has absolute immunity. I surely hope that's not true. But given our Supreme Court, I mean, maybe. God, I hope not. But yes, that would make ICE agents the Gestapo if that were true. They would become that. That would make them that if that was true. So I hope that's not true. So if I can make all federal law enforcement that. So I hope that's not true. But yes, let's hope that does not happen. But that's the point. I agree. It's a big problem we have to fix. I think, Phil, you're right in the money with that. Absolutely. So, all righty. Phil says that the Republicans need to stop having their domestic and foreign politics run like Pokemon. You like this Pokemon thing, don't you? Andrew says, ICE does not care if local communities comply or cooperate or not, as long as they fulfill their quota for deportations from the federal administration. That's the sad truth. This is my point. This idea of trying to force when you can't do it. I'm sorry, I keep saying it. It's driving me nuts because it's just, I'm smashing my head against the wall. It cannot be done. It is impossible. Yes. Rick Boss says, I will laud Orange Ball as a human being. Heresy. Worship him, worship him, worship him. Some people do. I mean, some people do. Yes. And I get into one coordination between the two as a way to avoid tragedies. Yes. And part of me wants that too. But reality rolls out numbers that contradict what we're calling for. You're right. Again, I think you're correct. So that also, you're right. I'm not fighting you on that at all. The entire idea, what I'm seeing now, okay, I got to put this in the right way. What I'm seeing now, Andrew, is Stitt. I'm sorry, it's German pronunciation, I know. Stitt and Vance saying, wait, maybe just bad guys. If we go to just bad guys, those numbers come down. Now to realistic numbers. To where now we're not grabbing random people because we got to get 3,000 people into the van tonight, right? Now we just start focusing on the bad guys, which is the right answer, right? Focus on the bad guys. Do all the rest later. Focus on the bad guys. Sarah says, all I ever need to know about Chris Noem is she bragged about shooting her dog and meeting with Kim Jong-un. The first is the biggest offense. True. Yes. True. Yes. I know she's shot. That's terrible. Luna says, Larry, it used to be a liberal democratic position to deport illegal aliens, that particularly if you enter the country illegally. You are de facto criminal if you enter a country illegally. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Yes, you're right. It used to be that way. Remember, the left, liberals or Democratic, used to hate immigration. Do you guys remember that? Because it would mess with union jobs. They were right. It would mess with union jobs. And it was the right who wanted all the cheap workers. Well, that turned around, didn't it? That turned around. You're totally correct. They were like, you're a criminal if you enter. Yep, they were. 100%. That's completely changed. Yep. Matt says, it will be par for the course, but Ellis Island everywhere except Ellis Island. Shelly says, Ellis Island everywhere. Yep. I like that idea too. I'm in. I think that's a great idea. So, all right. Adam says, hey, Larry, just got my Larry Sharpe for Governor hoodie today. I love it and it's high quality. Thank you. I like my hoodie too. I was wearing it earlier today for my radio show. I wear it often for my radio show. I do. So, all right. Matt says, come get your boy. I know I should. Absolutely. So, all righty. I'm way behind. I'm trying to keep going here again. So he says, Larry, the most creative fiscal conservative in our state. because I recognize you can't just cut without harming people, right? You can just cut if you want to, but you wind up harming people. And I'm not trying to harm people. I'm trying to change the way we make our money and change the way we support people. That's the issue. Yes. So Adam asks, Larry, how's donations been going? Has New York State matching funds been coming through? Okay, 2 pieces. Yep. One is, I think I mentioned already, we raised over $100,000. So thank you guys for that. It did work. I appreciate that. Matching funds doesn't until we get 500,000. So we're still working on that. Hopefully soon, hopefully hardcore. And I will make an announcement on the Republican line coming up here this week. I will. So yes. Libertarian Sam says, I understand first a right to protest and second right to carry. I don't see how this protest versus obstruction of justice, law enforcement, which is illegal. I don't see how this is a protest versus obstruction of justice, law enforcement, which is illegal. Oh, so you're saying you don't see that, you think it's an obstruction of justice. Okay, even if that's true, I'm not sure that's true, but even if it's true, protesting does obstruct things. It does by default. Even that's true. But even if that's true, what Kash Patel said, his words, you cannot carry a firearm into a protest. Well, even if you're trying to obstruct justice, if you are, does it mean you can't carry a firearm then either? Still a crime. The crime would be obstructing justice, not the firearm, right? So if I am obstructing justice, the crime that I'd be charged with would be obstructing justice. Okay. Why? What's to do with the firearm? Did I pull a firearm out? Now, if I did, that's different. That's brandishing, right? If I draw the firearm, if I shoot, if I hit somebody with it, total crime, no worries, crystal clear, Libertarian Sam, crystal clear. But if I just have it on me, how is that a crime? It should not be. And that's the problem, what Kash Patel is saying. That's not a crime. Whether or not he's obstructing justice or not, then that will be the crime, right? So yes. Chris says Trump will never admit he's lost his battle. He still thinks he won 2020. That's fine. He can come make a deal, act like he won. I'm not asking Trump to admit he lost. Chris, that's a bridge too far. I get it. But he could spin it and go, oh no, we're moving because whatever, Maine is worse. And I taught those Minnesota people, whatever. He'll just claim victory, which is fine. That's what he does. He'll claim victory and move on. Just move on. Just move on. That's all I care about. So yes, D says, when are people going to realize Larry's always right? I don't know. One day, D. One day they will. Shelly says, question for the chat. How many feet of snow at your house? Ooh, look at that. I don't have that many feet. I have only one. A little bit less than one, actually. So yes. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Jan T just reposted the stream. Thank you, guys. Repost this if you would, guys. If you have not already. Repost it if you can. Like this if you can. Share this if you can. Make sure you're subscribing to the channels or following the pages. Please do that. And if you can donate, guys, please donate. I ask you all the time because it matters. I'm still trying to move forward and get this word out. Look, we're winning. They're changing. They're seeing it. It's because I keep doing this. 8 years. 8 years. It's finally working. Don't stop now. LarrySharpe.com/donate. You want a hoodie? LarrySharpe.com/shop. You want to super chat me? LarrySharpe.com/super chat. You want to join up? LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. We need people on the SEAL Team Sharpe. We need them. Jump on board if you can. Looking over at Rumble. Again, Sharpe fan, those that hate no one for the dog thing have never been farmers. Chase your chickens, get tied up, start killing chickens means your end. Oh, I see what you're saying. And did she say the dog was aggressive and cannot be trained? She did say that. But here's the issue. That isn't the issue, Sharpe fan. I think the issue is her not knowing her audience, right? Number one, the vast majority of Americans are not farmers. Something like 3% of Americans are who are working are farmers. It's a very low percentage. So most Americans are not farmers, number one. Number two, you shouldn't be happy about killing a dog. People just don't like that. That's just not knowing your audience. I don't know if she was wrong or right. I'm not a farmer. And that may be the thing you do. I'm ignorant to that. Perhaps you're correct. All I'm saying is you're trying to run for office. You have to know your audience, right? There are things, and I don't know if Mike Voss is still watching, but Mike and I were in the Marine Corps around the same time. There's things we said in the Marine Corps that we will only say amongst ourselves. That's it. Because we know our audience. So when me and him are talking, there's stuff we can say because we get it. That's how we talk. That's what we do. Can't say that around regular people. Can't. Doesn't land. I should know my audience. And she should have known her audience. So again, maybe around other farmers, they'd be like, yep, I get it. You did the thing, get it. But not that. So yes. So, all righty. Gracie says, solutions don't help networks, partisan hacks, tech billionaires, and two-party elites. True. They only help mainstream Americans, which is why we don't have any. You're right. Yes. That's true. You're right. All righty. If I can move down this road. Let's see here. Roy says, there are blue and red states, but when Larry's president, it'll be a purple White House. I appreciate that, but I'm nowhere near there. But thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. Rick Boss says, we're finding out which Republicans were simply cosplaying as Second Amendment defenders. Justin Amash. True. Yes. How can you support the idea of Kyle Rittenhouse and not support the idea of Alex? I forgot his last name now. Is it Pitts? What's his last? You know what? I should know his last name. Hold on. What's his last name again? Preeti. Thank you. Alex Preeti. I should know his name. How can you accept Kyle Rittenhouse and not Alex Preeti? I accept both as valid, and neither should have been shot at or chased. Neither of them should have been. So yes, I completely agree. Alex should not be dead. He should not be dead. He was. I don't want to say murder because we don't know yet, but I am going to say he was wrongly killed. That I'm sure of. He was wrongly killed. So yes. So, all right. Sharpe Fang says, did not get the impression she enjoyed it, but just something she had to be done. Yes, maybe leave that out of politics. That's the issue. Yeah, that's my point. Leave it out of politics. And shame on her writers and her editors for not realizing that, right? What's your audience? Your audience is farmers. Your audience is like regular mainstream Americans. You're trying to get to vote for you. Terrible choice. Terrible choice. So yeah. All right. Grace says, my dad told me to never leave the house without ID. He was in SAC in the Air Force. Oh, nice. SAC, by the way, is Strategic Air Command. That's funny. He also told me not to argue with city cops. Said just call him if I got arrested. Smart move. Your dad was a smart man. Smart move. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Shelly says, my dad wouldn't let us go out with at least a nickel in our pocket, so no loitering. That used to be a law in New York State. Like, still is. Talking about the stupid, silly laws. Having no money and being around someplace is what makes you a loiterer, which is why you obviously people pull their pockets out in the old cartoons and have nothing in their pockets. If you have money in your pocket, that meant you could buy something. So you weren't loitering. That's what our laws used to be. And they still are officially. They haven't changed officially. They're not enforced anyway, but they're still stupid. So yes. Patty says, I was told don't leave the house with dirty underwear. We're the same. True. Whereas my dad never mentioned dirty underwear. I don't think he cared about that. I mean, I guess he did, but he never told me. Or my underwear was always clean. Or maybe he didn't care. I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure. One of the two. All right. Andrew says, the feds target even those whom you couldn't tell were from out of the country. What am I saying? There are a lot of great. Okay. What am I saying? They get a lot of people to do it. Yes. Got to send a prayer to everyone. True. Absolutely. Yes. Andrew says, goes on to say, a Massey 2028 bid seems quite nice. He said, I showed you this in my show the other day when I asked about Massey for president. He said he's not going to run. He sees no pathway to victory. I get it. Would I want him to run? Yes. Would I back him? Yes. Would I do whatever he asked me? Yes. 100%. Yes. Gracie says they are assholes and idiots with a death wish, but they're not domestic terrorists. I'm not going to fight you on that, Gracie. At all. I'm not fighting you on that at all. Yes. Roy says the worst thing about a domestic terrorist lie is it allows progressives to try to gaslight when they go after actual domestic terrorists. Yes. This is the same issue. Yes. Remember, thank you for this, Roy. Remember when Republicans were mad at Democrats for calling everybody I did not see that man with the funny mustache. Everybody's that. I'm trying not to get demonetized. Actually, it doesn't matter. I can't get I can say what I want now. It's true. It's right. I can't get monetized anyway. What am I talking about? So when they call anybody Nazis, and there's actual Nazis. So when you call some guy who says, I don't know if I like gay people, Nazi. Well, okay, that's not a Nazi. Somebody doesn't like gay people. That's not a Nazi. There's a difference. There's a difference. And now the real Nazis get to hide. There are real domestic terrorists. And when you're calling some woman who's got a nose ring and thinks she's saving the world, now you're calling her a domestic terrorist. She's not. She's not. She's misguided, but that's make a domestic terrorist. Now the real ones get ignored. I completely agree. We have to stop going to each side as far as you can each time. Yes, thank you for that, Roy. You got me all up and yeah. All right. Adam says, is Rochester going to one of your places to visit a campaign trail? I've been to Rochester many times. Do I have one right now? My next time to Rochester is not for a while. I'm not going to be in Rochester for a bit. I am spending a lot of time in other areas. February 26th, I will be in the area, but I will not be there. I will be in Syracuse. Closest I'm going to get on the 26th. I'm heading to Syracuse on February 26th. And yeah, probably close I'm going to get for a while. The next time I'm going to be there, I will be Cayuga, kind of close, March 13th. But that's where I'm going. And then I will not be in, I'm looking at my calendar now. Nope, it's a North Country tour. I'm probably not going to be back up in your area until April 25th at the moment, 3 months. I know a long time, but there's 62 counties and I'm trying to grab all of them. Right now I'm scheduled to be in Monroe County, April 25th. That is the current time, but I'll be in other places around. If you can grab me, I'll be nearby if you can drive a little bit, but I'm scheduled to be there at this, and my schedule changes a lot. So at the moment I'm scheduled to be in Monroe County, which for those who don't know is where Rochester is. In the afternoon of April 25th. So if you put that in your calendar, the odds are I'll be there then. I may not be, but the odds are I will be. So hope that helps. All righty. Let's see here. I'll grab some more of these. Okay. Gracie says, and while Minnesota burns, the neocons quietly rise from the ashes. It's what I told you. You guys, this is a huge, I told you show. Not all of them are. This one, huge. I told you neocons aren't gone. Just because Trump won the election and he won it, as he would say, bigly, he did. 2024, he had a mandate. He beat Kamala Harris in the popular vote. It was a mandate, right? I get it. Won all the swing states. True. That's an accurate statement. That doesn't mean the neocons go away. It means they got smart and realized we lost that battle. And they did. Neocons lost that battle. Like, okay, we lost that battle. How do we now counterattack? And they did. They said, okay, we lost that battle, but can we win this battle and get Marco Rubio into Secretary of State? Yeah. You know who's not being thrown in the bus right now? Marco Rubio. You know who's not in trouble right now? Senator Thune. These guys are good to go. They're laughing at the America First is MAGA people. They're laughing at them. Yeah. You go ahead. Do this immigration, whatever thing. They don't care about that. Neocons don't care about immigration. Never did. Still don't. They don't care. Neocons are happy to have all the cheap labor in. They are happy to have cheap labor in. They can yell at Biden and blame him and happily take all the cheap labor in. They're good. And the MAGA people they can laugh at. Maha people they can laugh at. You guys all get beat up. We're going to sit back here. And you are totally correct. And they're going to hope at the end of the day, oh, good. They're mad at these guys. We're still here. We were always here. It's an 80s movie, Gracie, right? The next door neighbor. I was here the whole time. That's neocons. I was here the whole time. Yes. So, all right. Shelley says, Obama had local, state, and federal support. Trump needs to humble himself and ask Obama to coordinate agencies as a favor. No, never. Nope. No, never. Shelley, that'll be a wonderful idea. Trump is never going to do that. I think maybe Andrea's idea is smarter. Probably a better idea. Get Holman to do it. That's a better idea. Is Trump going to ask Obama? Never going to happen. Never. Zero chance. Zero chance. Yes. All righty. Wow. Okay. Where am I? Let's see here. Doc says Rittenhouse was carrying a weapon in AZ lawless riot. Pretty boy brought a firearm to an ice interdiction. Yeah, but again, neither of those were the arguments. The arguments at the time were, Doc, you remember them. The arguments were Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have been there. He crossed state lines with a firearm. Why did he bring the firearm? He's a bad guy because of that. That was the argument. The argument for, as you call him, pretty boy, Alex, was, why'd you bring a gun? No, both of them had the right to carry their firearm. And that's the argument. The argument isn't, the things you said aren't the argument. You want to give me that argument, we can have a conversation. That's not the argument. That's not what Patel said at all. So yes. Mike says the left also tried to convince Rittenhouse that people that Rittenhouse killed black people. Also true. Utter lie. Yes. Utter lie. Yes, absolutely. So, all right. Ride Sticker says if you go swimming close to the shore and get attacked by a shark versus going out into the ocean to feed sharks and get attacked, different things. If you go swimming close to the shore and get attacked by a shark versus going out into the ocean to feed sharks and get attacked, different things. Well, I think yes, but is either one illegal? Right? Well, there may be social repercussions for those. Do I want legal repercussions? I would hope that a lifeguard wouldn't come and drown you in either case, right? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure that's, I don't know. Phil says, I hope this dialogue and what NT2A share from the right doesn't impact the outcome of this summer's sensitive places Supreme Court case. Oh, I hadn't even thought of that, Phil. Yeah, it might. I hope not, but it might. Yeah, 100%. Shelley says, doesn't stop me from wanting it to happen. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yes, you're not wrong. Yes. All right. Roy says, one of Trump's weaknesses he hires for fealty, not merit. These people are in over their heads. The problem is, look, I get that part though, Roy. I do. I'm not saying he's right, but I get it. I worry too. I worry about people backstabbing me in my own campaign, and I'm a much smaller campaign, obviously, than what Trump's doing. I mean, I'm minuscule compared to him, and I worry about it. I worry about people being loyal to me and not, throwing me under the bus, harming me in some way, making me a criminal, right? Because they could if they wanted to, that kind of stuff. So I worry too. And I've watched people. My 2022 campaign, for those of you around for that, I got backstabbed by so many people. Holy shit, did I get backstabbed by so many people? To include lawsuits and everything. And I'm, again, small potatoes compared to freaking Trump, President of the United States. I'm tiny, I'm minuscule compared to him. So I do get it. Like, I'm not saying you're right, but I understand his worry. Loyalty matters at that high of a level. It does. The problem is you've got to get people who at least can hire the right people or something. And that's sometimes he doesn't do. But yeah, I mean, but loyalty really does matter at that point. It does. Adam says, all I can think about is that once in the platoon from how much that guy got shot. Hands up. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah. They fired 10 rounds at him. Yes. Gracie says, someone yelled, there's a gun. What he actually yelled was, where's the gun? That was, where's the gun? Glenn Beck did an excellent show on this. He could not commit to the side. Wish he could get you on the show for your analysis. I'll reach out and see, but he hasn't really talked to me in years. I got to really reach out to him again and see. His head's someplace else now. He's not as libertarian as he used to be. Let's hope he can change. But yeah, no. For those of you who want to watch, you can look. I did a show on Glenn Beck years ago. Google Larry Sharpe and Glenn Beck. I did an interview with him. It was one of my favorite interviews. But yeah, the issue is they actually said, if I remember right, where is the gun? I go back to my point though, as I've always said, my same point. It's two separate pieces here. If you're that afraid that there may be a gun and there's 4 of your guys on top of a guy on a floor and you have your firearm out and you're that afraid you have to fire, one, why are you a cop? You have to accept rules of engagement. And if you can't do that, why'd you become a cop? Or 2, which is just as viable, why didn't they weed that guy out? Why? Because they had 47 days of training. Versus you probably should have the most basic Marine has over 100 days of training. The most basic has over 100 days of training, right? The most basic. You don't give because 100 days training. If you're an officer, you get a year of training, a year to be a rank officer, at least. So yeah, so you don't weed these guys out with training, number one, or why did he choose? I'm not saying he wasn't scared. Maybe he was. Maybe he was afraid for his life. Maybe he was. But then why are you a cop? If you're that afraid or that concerned, you're in the wrong business. Go do something else. I'm going to repeat this. The guy was on the floor. 4 of your boys are around him, and you have your firearm out. Why are you so scared? And maybe he had a gun. You don't even know if he did, and you started firing? No. You should not be a firearm. You should have a firearm. You shouldn't have a firearm. You should not be a cop. You should not be a cop if that's who you are. And either that should have been weeded out, or he should have just said, I'm not doing it. So yes. Andrew says, I get what you're saying, Larry. And as I said, you're not wrong for any coordination, but taking away the chain I made earlier in the chat, Memphis and Obama era levels were bad examples. I'm not sure they were bad examples relative today, right? Relative today. Relative. This is the problem. The actual answer is what Stitt said, which is what I'm saying. The answer isn't this, right? ICE coming in and trashing people is not the answer. But the reality of it is, once Trump won, that was going to happen. That goes to my next point. Some people don't want to accept the inevitable. Sometimes you have to accept the inevitable. I know it sucks, but I've said it many times in my life. It sucks. But ICE was coming. That was going to happen. If I have to accept ICE is going to come, which I had to with Trump winning, that was going to happen. No matter what we thought, no matter how happy we were, doesn't matter. It was going to happen. Okay, I got it. What's my best option in those cases? It's this. Would I rather have Stitt's answer? Yes, it's my answer. Of course, I'd rather have his answer. His answer is my answer. I'm just saying, I'm looking at what I got to do. What's going to happen? What is the inevitable? And if I have to choose between the Obama style or the current Trump style, I'm going to go with the Obama style. If I got to choose. And that's sadly all I really had at this point. If that makes any sense. So, yeah, that's the piece. All righty. Let's see here. I want to grab some more of these if I can. All right. Mastermind says, if you look at the amount of bear spray that Alex took to the face, it's obviously the only thing he was doing was struggling to breathe. Also true. They also maced him too. So they maced him on top of it. So D says, I thought Chase was an Ellis Island style. I think he is too, but I wasn't sure. I don't remember. I don't remember which one he is. So maybe he is. So yes. Libertarian Sam says, Hochul and Trump are both talking about nuclear energy now. I know. They've come my way too. Sarah, you've talked about feeling bad. No. They're all coming my way. I've been talking about nuclear energy for 8 years. Yes. Now they're coming my way too. They're all coming my way. Why? I was right the whole time. Larry, you are a pompous ass. True and still correct. And still correct. Doesn't matter. I'm still right. I was right the entire time. Everything I talked about, it always comes back to what I was talking about. It always comes back to what I was talking about. Patty goes, the party told you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Yes, if you remember, at the end, when they're talking to Winston, he says, what is 2 + 2? And the appropriate answer is whatever the party says it is. It's not 4. It's not 5. It's not 3. 2 + 2 is what the party says it is. That's what 2 + 2 is. If 2 + 2, if the party says 2 + 2 is F, then 2 + 2 is F. Done. Because the party says so. That's how it works. You are correct. All righty. So I grab some of these if I can. All righty. You guys are going down those roads. I appreciate that too. Yes. Gracie says, Chrissy Nome should have surrendered the dog to a shelter. My husband's a commercial farmer. Well, there we go. So someone believes that. I to be forward, I'm not at all a farmer. I'm not a farmer. I know a lot of farmers. I talk to them often, but this is a thing that I don't know. I believe either of those. I don't have enough experience to give an answer to that, to be forward with you. So yes. All right. Space Jason says the officer that shot Pretty has been with Border Patrol for 8 years, had extensive training. The untrained narrative is a leftist talking point. Ooh, I didn't know that. But if he did, are all of them that way? Or was just him? I don't know. And if he was a Border Patrol guy, was he doing ICE raids? Right? Which is a different issue, right? I don't know this space, so I could be off on this. But if he was doing that, right? If he was, say he was, like, as an example, on a horseback, in Texas, I'm making that up, right? But say he was, well, that's way different than going into, Minneapolis and doing smash and grabs. So a big difference. So just because he's been on Border Patrol doesn't necessarily mean he has a training. I don't know if that's true. So do you have the training required for this job? So I don't know. That's my issue. So who knows if they're prepared for this, or are they shoving Border Patrol agents into ICE situation, which is very different, right? Border Patrol, what most Border Patrol people do, is not the same as what most ICE people do, right? It's a different thing. It's like making an airman who's repairing airplanes. Well, he's military, so now you're gonna make him an infantryman in the Marine Corps, right? He's gonna struggle. And for those who don't know, this is a true story. If you go to Marine Corps boot camp and you join the Air Force, you don't have to go to boot camp again. I'm not joking. You don't have to go to boot camp again. Not required. You're good. You have a little bit of training, a week or two, you're out. So you're done. You don't require any more training. I'm not joking. It's true. If you're in Air Force, you have to go to boot camp again. Join the Marine Corps. In fact, join the Army. You go to Marine Corps, have a good boot camp. No matter what, you go to Marine Corps, have a good boot camp. The reverse, not true. This is how it works. So I think this is the piece I mean, Space. Maybe he required more training in the ICE. Again, I don't know that to be true, but perhaps that's true. I would look at that to see if that's true. Sharpe Vance says, liberal response has been based on what can we do that will bring the most money and make the best campaign ads. They don't care about the masses. Also true. I was to say, hold on, the liberal leadership response. There are a lot of individual Americans who are just mad at this, just angry. A lot of average Americans. But the leadership, as I said, you think the libertarians, do you think the Democratic leadership is mad about this? They won the battle. So some people died. They don't care. I don't mean to be flippant. I'm not trying to be flippant. I'm being honest. Sharpe, and you're right. They're like, we won this battle. Look at us. We're killing it. If you look now, Chuck Schumer's relevant again. I know. Chuck Schumer's relevant because now he's talking about we're going to stop Trump and now we're going to hold it because of ICE. Chuck Schumer's like, oh, God, I get to be relevant? Nice. I love it. Chuck Schumer can be relevant again. He can't wait. He's like, oh. Chuck Schumer's thinking, can we get some more of these people shot? Can we get some more? Get shot. He's happy. He's relevant again. You are totally correct. I wish you were wrong, Sharpe fan. I wish I could sit there and say, no, that would never. I wish you were wrong. But you're right. Phil says the political discourse leaves out the fact that no one should expect someone to vote against their own interests. So in engaging others in a discourse, simply focus on expanding interests. If the person I'm speaking with, keyword, is only focused on their self-interest, the conversation will end, ask for their favorite charity, and go from there. It's a good point. However, I have to add a however piece. For many people, before you can get there, there's a litmus test, right? I see it often when I travel. The litmus test. So there has to be a litmus test. And that can often be something like, and it used to happen. So what do you think about Trump? Or what do you think about Elon? Yes. What do you think about Mandani? They ask you a litmus test question. And if you fail that question, there is no more conversation. That's the hard part. How do you negotiate around that litmus test question? I'm pretty good at it because I have to be, but the average person isn't. If you fail the litmus test, that you can't go there. You're right. I want to go there. That is the appropriate place to go. 100% true. How do I get there when someone goes, what about Trump? And you go, I don't like Trump and his ICE stuff. What? Yeah, you're evil now. Or the reverse. Oh, great. Now you're my best friend. Either of those two things, litmus test, things change. So, yes. All righty. Sarah says, I'm a farmer and no fan of gnome. Well, there we go. There we go. Sarah says it's a very old-fashioned solution and not humane. Okay, well, look, I'm listening to this with open ears. Gracie says, my husband is a commercial farmer who had challenging dogs. He kept them anyways. That is a BS excuse for shooting cricket. Farmers running dogs to shelters. Well, there we go. There we go. Massimo says, Larry missed all the pretty good memes. I'm not sure I even want to see them. I don't want to see this movie. Okay. Yeah. Phil says, in the movies, you can kill thousands of people, but if you kill a dog, you're making them as the bad guy. Yes. The whole John Wick series, right? Right? John Wick's in theory, he's a murderer. He's a paid assassin, but they killed his dog. So now he gets to kill thousands. True. Yes. So, let's see here. Oh, Shelley has different. Oh, interesting piece here. My dad had to kill premature puppies whose mother died giving birth to them. We didn't talk to him for a month. It broke his heart to have to do it, and us ignoring him. I can imagine. Oh my God, I'd hate doing that. Oh my God, that must be horrible. Wow. Yep. D Nice Gamer says it. John Wick. Of course. Yes, of course. 100%. D says, if someone within the campaign backstabs Larry Sharpe, you're going to be on my list. You don't want to be on that list. They're making lists. It's true. They're making lists. It is true. So, absolutely. All right. Let's see if I can go down here. There's so many of these here. Nathan says, if anyone hasn't seen it yet, go watch Larry's podcast with Anna Mason. It was great. Oh, thank you. I love Anna. Anna's much more in the Maha world. But yes, she's wonderful. We had a good chat. For those who want to see her, she's great. I met her in Michigan. When I was in Michigan at a libertarian event, she showed up with her hubby. It was very nice meeting her. So she's great. Yes. So, all righty. Andrew says, got to get someone from the LCI to interview Larry. Very happy to see Larry and Jacob Winograd and stream together. I think an interview on that platform would really help Larry out. I'm in. If we can get it done, let's do it. I am in. Yes. I'm hopefully in. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Sharpen says 63. I guess something about alternatives not available in my youth. Oh, maybe. But there we go. See, we've learned something today. I didn't know that, but yes. Chris says, it doesn't surprise me that some of the same people defending ICE also defended Chauvin. You can back law enforcement not being blind and loyal, even the bad ones. Look, I talk about it all the time. Chauvin was a bad guy. Whether you think he killed, how can I not? He's like, everyone knows who he is now. I've forgotten his name. Anyway, if you think he killed that guy, yeah, doesn't matter. He was a bad guy. He had a rap sheet. Chauvin was a bad cop. And that's my point. I say this often, and people think I'm crazy, but Chauvin was exactly the thing I talked about. The problem we have with cops, George Floyd, thank you. The problem I have with bad cops is when there are bad cops, they're protected by the unions and allowed to resign, and they don't get fired. Why do you care, Larry? Because now they go to another police force, and they don't have a bad record. So then the police force hires them. They're still a bad cop. So that same bad cop now does something bad in that place too. And they get mad at him, and they get him to resign. He goes to another place because that didn't happen that often. That's Chauvin, literally. He had a rap sheet in 3 different places. That guy should have been taken care of a long time ago. He was a bad cop. And that's one of my points. If you get rid of the bad cop, he doesn't keep going. Cops shouldn't have rap sheets. That shouldn't be a thing. But they do. They're protected by unions. They're protected by immunity. They're protected by unions, and they move them around. This should not be the issue. Chauvin was a bad cop. People should not have been defending him ever. He should not have been defended. He was a bad cop, and they should have walked away from him a long time ago. You are correct. So, all righty. Nuner says there need to be reasonable accommodations, Larry. But if you enter the country legally, you should need to leave to get back into it the right way. Shoulds, yes. The problem you have is they don't trust the people who do it. I understand why. The government has been bad at it. How much time does it take? Years? Here's these people don't understand. Don't want to accept. Big business wants them here. That's why they're here. Big business wants them here. That's why they're here. So if big business says, hey, leave, and come back, and the government goes, well, we don't have time, we don't have whatever, and now we got to wait 6 months to get my workers back. I'm not putting up with that. I'm going to take my money, I'm going to put it into a pack, and Nooner, you're gone. You're gone. I'm primarying you, and you're gone. And you know that. So you go, I'm not doing that. Because the federal government can't be trusted to get people back. I need my workers because I'm big business and I have big money, and you're a little guy and you don't matter. So yes, but not going to happen. Just, it's not a thing. So we have to find a better way. And Stitt's way is a better way. Stitt knows because he's got big donors. Big energy, Oklahoma, big energy. They want workers. They want cheap workers. They're going to get them. They always do. Sarah says, I know you're always right, Larry. I never lose faith in you. Oh, happy, positive for the kids. We will overcome this and become better. But in my blue area, I wish you had more solutions for people now. Me too. I agree. Yes, absolutely. Yes. All right. Duna says, Larry, if you more recognized back in 2012, I wish you ran across Obama. Dems love to lionize Obama as their Reagan, despite him killing people of color, the first black president. No. Obama's one reason why I'm a libertarian. Yes. One of the reasons why he was so disappointing. I agree. He left me open to that. Yes. Gracie says, Larry, you're making the same smug smile my husband makes when he mentions Marine boot camp. It's a jarhead thing, I guess. It's true. It is. It's true. It's true. Absolutely. So, all righty. Liberty says, I'm a pompous ass, but still right. Larry Sharpe. Burner shirt. It's true. I'm still right. Yes. So Gracie goes on to say, George Floyd was killed by the lockdowns when Chauvin. I bring it up all the time. Yes. I work in a poor neighborhood and still see the effects of the lockdowns. There was more than one George Floyd. 100% true. Yes. Absolutely. Roy says, admitting bad cops / bad government agents gives police more credibility. Yes. Yes, but with blind support of executioners, it allows the other side to gaslight even more legit policy. Yet again, true. Yes. Look, we have to accept it. Cops are human beings. That's who they are. They're not bad, evil guys. I mean, some of them are, but they're not bad, evil guys, and they're not gods. They're just people. Bad systems have worse outcomes. That's how it works. And when you have the bad cops, make sure you figure it out and get rid of the bad cops. That's it. That's it. That's all. And then we can make things better. I completely agree. More and more. There we go. All right. Roy says, Larry Shirt, I'm right, but I'll still listen. Also true. You guys have bullied me into stuff before too. So yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I do still listen. That is also true. I do still listen. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. I think we got that. Phil says we should get Larry Sharpe on Kill Tony. Okay. I'm not sure what that is, but please get me on that. I would love that. Guys, I'm going to ask you if you could click the button that known as like. It does matter. If you have not reposted the show, please repost it. It does matter. Of course, if you want to come see me, you can this weekend. I will be out in New York State again this weekend on Saturday, January 31st. I will be at Mahoney's Irish Pub and Steakhouse in Poughkeepsie, New York at 2 p.m. this Saturday. The Alexis Diner at 6:30 in Troy, New York this Saturday. If you can come out, please come see me. It is free. Love to see you. If you can do so. If you want to support me, please donate. LarrySharpe.com/donate. We did break $100,000 mark, but we got to get to 500,000 so that we can get our matching funds. So we have more work to do. So please help us out with that. Share us around. You can also volunteer if you want to. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer for SEAL Team Sharpe. It does matter. So please help out if you can. Every single bit I would like. Here's what I would like you to talk about, if you would, in the chat. Remember, after the show is over, please comment. I want you to comment on, do you think Trump will have ICE back off or not? Do you think Trump will have ICE back off, or will he double down? Will Trump have ICE back off? Will he double down? What do you think? Remember, if you're watching this not live, you might see videos pop up. Please watch one of them right away. Mr. Rhythm loves that. Algo Rhythm. I will see you all very soon.